بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أرحب بكم جميعا في ورشة العمل
In the name of
الافتراضية
God,
التي
I welcome
تنظمها
all
منظمة
of you
تنمية
in the
المرأة
virtual workshop
بعنوان التنمية
organized by
الاقتصادية
WDO
والكيف
entitled
لتحقيق
Economic
شعور
Empowerment
المجتمعات
and
من
Climate
أجل تحقيق
Resilience
الهدف
of
التسعيري.
Smallholder Rural
يسعدنا
Women
في
Farmers
منظمة
for
تنمية
Food
المرأة
Security.
أن نخوض
We
هذا
are happy
التحدي
to
بالتعاون
lead
مع
this
المنظمة
event
العربية
with
للتنمية
the
الزراعية
Islamic
والمنظمات
Organization
السامية
for Food
للتنمية
Security
الغذائي،
and Arab Organization
وذلك
for
بهدف
Agricultural
دعم
Development
المجتمعات الريفية
in order to support
وتعزيز
the rural
المواطنين
female
على الصمود
farmers
لخفض
and to
التغيرات
empower
المناخية
them and
وتحقيق
to
التنمية
um,
الاقتصادية.
achieve the food
إن هدفنا
security and
إنتاج
economic
المواشي
development.
وتزويد
Our
القادة
goal in
والمدربين
this event
بالمعرفة
is to train
والأدوات
all the
التي
leaders
يمكنهم
and to
من
equip them
مساعدة
with all the
النساء في
tools
الأنشطة
that will help
الزراعية
the women in
وتحقيق
their
الأمن الغذائي
agricultural
واستدامة
objectives and to achieve the
مجتمعاتهن.
sustainable development and the food
سنستمع
security in their
اليوم إلى
communities.
تجارب ملهمة
We will be
إلى المنطقة
listening today
العربية،
to very
ونناقش
successful
استراتيجيات
experiences
فعالة
and
لتعزيز
strategies
إمكانيات النساء
that will
الريفية في
help
المجال
us
الزراعي.
enhance and
في
empower the
بداية
women in
الحديث
this
يسرني
field.
أن أقدم
First of
الدكتورة
all,
حنان
I'd
القاعي
like to
مديرة
present
الشراكات
Dr.
الاستراتيجية في
حنان
منظمة
القاعي,
تنمية
the
المرأة.
Director of
تقع
Strategic
الكلمة في
Partnerships
ترحيبها.
and Supervisor of Programs and Activities, and now I'm giving her the floor.
Thank you, Hannah. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I extend a warm welcome to our esteemed strategic partners from the Arab Organization for Agricultural Development and the Islamic Organization for Food Security, respected speakers, trainers, and all our valued participants. It's a great privilege to have such a distinguished gathering here today. Please allow me to continue my welcome address in Arabic. As we have simultation, wa alaikum assalam. We have translation in English and French too. الحضور الكريم. أسعد الله
Dear
صباحكم
attendees,
وأهلا وسهلا بكم.
good morning to all of you and welcome to this special meeting that brings us together on common goal and a promising vision. Here is Dr. Hanan Al-Khai, Director of Strategic Partnerships and Supervisor of Programs and Activities at the Women's Development Organization. I'm pleased to welcome you to the virtual workshop held in cooperation with our strategic partners from the Arab Organization for Agricultural Development and the Islamic Organization for Food Security. We met today to discuss a vital topic related to empowering women farmers in face of climate change and their contribution to food security. This is a topic that is directly related to the future of food security and sustainable development. Dear participants, women have come to constitute like nearly 50% of the world's population, and therefore she is the supporter of men at all levels and responsibilities. We, as the organization, aspire to be the effective voice as a specialized organization for more than 800 million women in the member states of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Economically empowering women in rural and urban areas is an essential part of our strategic vision towards sustainable and comprehensive development. The honorable participants. Women farmers are not just workers on the land, they are change agents and key to achieve sustainability in their communities. Our partnerships with regional and international institutions aim to provide comprehensive solutions that support rural women, starting from training and education to their economic empowerment. I also like to extend my sincere thanks to all the speakers who will be participating in the training session of this workshop, including experts in the sustainable agriculture to specialists in women's empowerment through agricultural entrepreneurship and natural resources management. Their valuable participation contributes to transfer of knowledge and practical experiences that will help develop the potentials of the women farmers. Today, through this workshop, we look forward to strengthening capacities and providing recommendations that contribute contribute
اقتصادية
to
مستدامة
empowering women
وقابلة
farmers and
على
enhancing
مواجهة
their
التحديات
capabilities
بجميع
as
مستوياتها.
sustainable agricultural
أشكركم
economic
جميعا على
models
مشاركتكم
capable of facing all the
وأتطلع أيضا إلى
challenges.
مناقشات
I'd like to
جدية
thank you all for
تؤدي
your
إلى خطوات
participation, and
عملية
we look
تسهم
forward
في تحقيق
to
أهدافنا
fruitful
في ذلك.
discussions that lead to
شكرا لك
practical
سميحة.
steps that contribute
تفضل
to
سنة.
achieving our common goals. Thank you all for your
شكرا
listening.
جزيلا دكتورة حنان.
Thank you, Dr.
قبل
Hanan.
بداية جلستنا الأولى
Before we
أود
start
أن
our
ندعو
first
جميعا
session,
إلى
I'd like
صورة
to
جماعية
invite all
افتراضية.
of the
رجاء تهيئ
guests
الكاميرات الآن.
to take a collective
والسيدات
photo.
والسادة
Please
الحضور
open your
لحد
cameras.
بس ما يتفضل الجميع بفتح
Until
الكاميرات.
all of you are
أذكر
ready,
تنويه عن وجود
I'd like
ترجمة
to tell
فورية
you that there's
للغتين
an
الإنجليزية
interpretation,
والفرنسية من خلال
French
خاصية
interpretation and
الترجمة
English
بخلال زوم.
interpretation
سنفتح
through the
أبواب النقاش
interpretation tool
والأسئلة
in
في نهاية
Zoom.
كل جلسة.
And
لكم
at the end of every
أن
session,
تختاروا
questions and
التساؤلات من خلال
answers
المحادثة.
part will be available. Thank you.
الآن سنأخذ صورة
Now we're
جماعية.
going to
سينضم
take
إلينا
the
الآن
collective
دكتور
photo,
إبراهيم.
and Dr. Ibrahim will join us right now. We're waiting for him.
شكرا لكم جميعا. ننتقل الآن إلى الجلسة الأولى التي ستتناول قصص
Now we'll be
نجاح
moving to the
وهبة
first
لتمكين
session that
النساء
will
الريفية
address
في
the
المنطقة
successful
العربية.
experiences of
ستقدم هذه
empowering
الجلسة مجموعة
rural
من
women
التجارب
in
من
the
بلاد
Arab
المشرق
region, and we
والمغرب
will have
والمحيط
many
العربي.
experiences
توضح
from
كيف
GCC
استطاعت
and the
النساء
Mashriq
الريفيات
and Maghreb
التغلب على
regions
التحديات
that
وتحقيق
clarify how
التغيرات
the
في
women were
مجتمعاتهن.
able to face all
نبدأ
the
أولا مع
challenges in
الدكتورة
their
نسرين اللحام
communities.
المشرفة
Now
على
we'll be
وحدة
having
التنمية
Dr.
الريفية
Nisreen Al-Laham,
والمستدامة ومنسق شبكة
and
الريفية
the regional
وخبير
coordinator of
تحول
the Arab
التعاون
Network
الزراعية
for Rural
والغذائية في
Women
المنظمة
at
العربية
the Arab
للتنمية
Organization
الزراعية.
for Agricultural
عملت في عدة
Development.
منظمات دولية في
She
إدارة
worked in
برامج
many
ومشروعات
organizations, international
إقليمية حول
ones, to
المياه
manage many
والغذاء
regional
والطاقة
projects
والاستشرار
on
المستقبلي.
water, food,
دكتورة
energy,
نسرين أترك
and
لك إدارة هذه الجلسة
many
فلتتفضلي
other
مشكورة.
things. And now I'm giving her the floor to organize this session.
صباح الخير جميعا.
Good
في
morning,
البداية
everyone.
أحب
At the
أن
outset,
أرحب باسم
I would
المنظمة
like
العربية
to,
للتنمية
in the name
الزراعية
of
بهذه
the
الشراكة مع منظمة
AOAD,
سيدات المرأة
to
والمنظمة الإسلامية
hail
للأمن
this partnership
الغذائي
with
في حالة
WDO
التعاون الذي نتمنى أن
and
يكون بداية
the rest of the
للتعاون الأكبر
organizations
وعلى
for this
مستوى
partnership
أوسع في
that we wish
الوطن
to
العربي
expand
والدول
in the
الإسلامية
future
بإذن الله.
with
نحن
the Arab
نتشارك
world
في
and
الرؤية وفي
Islamic
الأهداف
countries.
وفي
We
تمكين
have
وفي
common
تمكين المرأة
views and
الريفية
goals in
ودعمها
regards
في
to
مواجهة
empowerment of
التغير
rural
المناخي
women
والتحديات
to
التي
face
تواجهها.
the climate change and challenges that she faces.
ويسعدني أيضا أن أشكر
I'm
هناء على
happy
من
to
منظمة
thank
تنمية
Hannah
المرأة
from
على هذا
WTO
التنظيم الجيد
for
للحدث.
moderating this event very well.
بداية أحب أن
In
ألقي
the
على
beginning,
الأذهان على
I would
أهمية
like to show
المنظمة
you
العربية
a quick
للتنمية الزراعية
presentation
لمن لا يعرف عنها.
on
هي
the
الذراع الجديد لجامعة
AOAD,
الدول
which
العربية
is
فيما
the
يتعلق بالتنمية
technical body of the
الزراعية
League of
والأمن
Arab States in
الغذائي
relation to
وهي
agricultural
تعمل
development
في
and
عدة
food
محاور
security.
منها الدراسات
It
الاقتصادية
works with a lot
والإحصائيات
of pillars,
المشروعات
with studies,
القطرية
reports, and
التدريب وبناء
statistics, as
القدرات
well as
بناء
training
الشراكات
and capacity
والبرامج
building,
والاستراتيجيات إعداد
as
البرامج
well as building
الاستراتيجية على
partnerships,
المستوى
building
القومي
strategic
22 دولة
programs,
عربية.
nationally for
أنتم شايفين
22
السلايدات
Arab
تحركت
states.
ولا لا؟
Are you able to see my slides?
نعم تتحرك، نعم تتحرك.
تمام.
Yes, we can see them.
الاستراتيجية الأهم التي أعدتها
The
المنظمة
most
هي
important
استراتيجية
strategy
التنمية
that the
الزراعية العربية
organization has
المستدامة
developed
حتى
is the Arab
2030.
Sustainable Agricultural
والهدف الرابع
Development
من
Strategy
الاستراتيجية
until
يتعلق بتنمية
2030.
وازدهار الريف
The main
العربي
goals of
وتمكين
this
المرأة
strategy is to
والتأقلم مع
support the
التغيرات البيئية
transformation and
ومعها
adaptation in
التغير المناخي.
agriculture, empowering women against
رؤية
the
المنظمة
climate
العربية
change.
للتنمية
And the
فيما
vision
يتعلق
for
بالتنمية
the
الريفية
Arab
وتمكين المرأة
Organization on
أن
Rural
إعادة
Development and
النظر
Women's
في الريف
Empowerment
هو
is
مطلب
to
أساسي لدفع العملية
reconsider
التنموية
the
بشكل
rural
عام
life as it
وبما
is
يتعلق
necessary
بتخفيض
to
حاجة
push rural
الفقر وتحسين
development,
فرص الرفاه
as
وتقليل
well
عدم
as reduce
المساواة وتحقيق
poverty,
العدالة في
improve
الوصول
welfare,
للغذاء
reduce inequality and achieve justice in access to food. Of course, this works on improving livelihoods in the Arab countryside, as well as improving development in the Arab world, especially when it comes to women and their positive impact, supporting their families, in addition to the nutrition of food of children, as well as their education, as studies now show. I will not take long in this presentation because we have little time. However, I would like to say that we do have a unit in our organization that supervises this issue. It has the common view of the Arab world on empowering women, and supported by the Security Council of this organization as well, to empower women in many fields. The main vision of the organization is to provide services for the Arab world in regards to women empowerment, as well as their projects and training them. This is also to work with them in order to facilitate their access to funds. Some of the pillars that we take care of is to improve the added value for these women in all aspects of food provision in order to improve the livelihoods as well as economic and social circumstances of these women for the bigger goal, which is to improve food security on both national and international aspects. I came from Cairo, where the regional office I work in is, and we have established a training for rural women on added value of dairy products. This event is just an example of the activities of the organization in cooperation with the AOAD and many other organizations, where a number of rural women have been trained, as well as trainers from other Arab worlds, on how we can provide them with the technical skills for the added value of dairy products, for packaging, marketing, and others, how we can conduct studies for volunteering. We also had an expert from agricultural guidance to know what the challenges of funding are. This was also done through reviewing the suggestions of these women. And we've also reviewed a lot of other mechanisms in order to try and establish change in Jordan and many other countries to transform our world in order for women to gain their funding. There was also a lot of projects on farming, which will be in 2024, as well as many plants that will be later on exported to the European countries. There will also be a project on how to recycle the usage of soap in Egypt, in addition to many other activities. So we really take care of these activities. And we, of course, supervise these efforts in terms of training and other activities to see what is most effective from these activities. We are very proud of this partnership with the Women Development Organization. We have signed a partnership contract recently, which started with this training that we are circulating today, in addition to the operation of Islamic cooperation, OIC, and it will be a start of many series, many studies, trainings, and projects on ground in order to empower women. This is in brief what I wanted to say, and now I give the floor to my colleagues from the Arab Network on the rural, Bedouin, and coastal women to also show us their presentation. It's worth mentioning that this network, which I will leave a link to, is an open network for everyone concerned to look at. if you would like to join it, in order to be in all the meetings that they establish, to also hear the success stories, know the statistics, and others. This is through 22 national coordinators from the Arab world. We will see 3 of them who do update all the data. We can also coordinate our efforts to increase connection with other countries. And of course, everyone has an official representative when it comes to the partnership of other countries that are concerned with empowering rural women. The first success story that we will hear is from the Sultanate of Oman. This would be through engineer Khalida, who is the focal point of the Sultanate of Oman, as I've mentioned. And she, Engineer Khalida, has an experience of more than 24 years in the field of agricultural guidance and developing agricultural projects. Engineer Khalida, you have the floor to show us our presentation, and I hope that your presentation would be about 10 minutes just to abide by our timetable. You have the floor.
May peace be upon all of you. I'd like to thank Dr. Hussein and Dr. Hanan for their own presentations and for organizing this workshop. She gave you a hint on me about my name and my position and everything. So I'm not going to repeat all of this again. I would like to thank her again for this, and I'm gonna share with you my presentation.
الصوت زين واضح
Are you hearing me well?
واضح
Yes, it's very clear. Go ahead. So today we're going to talk about successful stories from the GCC region, Sultanate of Oman.
طبعا سلطنة عمان هي دولة عربية تقع في غرب
Sultanate of
آسيا
Oman is an
وتابعة
Arab country
للمنشطة
located in
الجنوبية
Western
العربية
Asia in the
مساحة
southeastern
أكثر
quarter of
من
the Arabian
309
Peninsula,
كيلومتر
covers a
مربع
total
تطلع
area
على
of
بحار بحر العرب بحر عمان والخليج العربي
309,500 kilometers
وعاصمتها
square,
مسقط لغتنا اللغة
overlooks three
العربية
seas, the
طبعا
Arabian, the
عدد
Sea of Oman,
السكان
and the Arabian
خلال
Gulf, and
2022
the
أكثر من 4
official
مليون
language is
و900
Arabic
نسمة
also,
طبعا
and
تشكل النساء العمانيات في هذه
the Arab women
خلال
of
تعداد
Oman
2022
represents in
مليون أكثر من مليون
2022 more than
امرأة
million
عمانية.
Omani
النظام
women.
الأساسي للدولة
The
أصدر
royal,
بالنظام
the
الأساسي
royal
المنظوم السلطاني رقم 6 على
decree number
21 يضم المادة
6 over
18 والمادة
2021,
21
including
تنص
the
المادة
basic law of
18
the
على
state,
المبادئ
including
الاجتماعية
Article
إن
15, the
العدل
social
والمساواة والتكافؤ والفرق
that
بين
states that the
المواطنين
social
كعامل
principles of
المجتمع تكتمل الدولة.
the state are
والمادة
represented in
21
justice,
مواطنين
equality,
جميعهم
and equal
سواسية أمام القانون
opportunities
وهم متساوون في الحقوق
before the law,
والواجبات
and
العامة
they
ولا
are
تمييز
equal
بينهم
in public
في
rights
ذلك
and
بسبب
duties, and there
الجنس
is no
والأصل أو
discrimination
اللون أو
between
اللغة
them
أو
based
الدين
on
أو المذهب أو
gender, origin,
المواطن أو
color,
الموطن أو المركز
language,
الاجتماعي.
religion,
طبعا في هذه
or
عندنا
social
رؤية عمان
status.
2040
Our
إنها
focus
تحتوي
in
على 4 محاور
2020,
أهم المحاور
2040
اللي تعتني
have
بالمرأة
4
هي
main
نمو الإنسان والمجتمع
pillars.
بالأولوية
Most of
الوطنية
which
الرفاه
define
والحماية
society, and the
الاجتماعية
national
بالهدف
priority is the
لاستراتيجية
welfare
حماية
and social
اجتماعية متكاملة
protection,
موجهة للفئات الأكثر
and it is an
احتياجا
integrated social
ما
protection
منهم
that
المرأة
directed at the most needy
لتمكينها من
group,
الاعتماد على
especially
الذات
women, to
والمساهم في
enable them
الاقتصاد الوطني.
to
وطبعا
self-reliant,
هذه يرتبطن
contribute to the
في
national economy.
الأهداف
And this
المستدامة
is
للقضاء على الفقر
related
والقضاء
to the
أيضا على الجوع.
sustainable objectives to eliminate
طبعا تمكين
poverty.
المرأة يعد من حكومة سلطنة
Supporting
عمان
and
من خلال
empowering
وزارة
women
الثروة
is the
الزراعية
most
والسمكية
important
والمعدنية
goal
في القطاع
of the
الزراعي
Ministry
والسمكي
of
والحيواني
Agriculture and Ministry
بإنشاء دائرة
Residency
تدني أولمبية
for
لتضم 13
Oman.
قسم موزع على مستوى
And
السلطنة.
the
طبعا
total
هذه
department has
يشرف
13
عليها
divisions,
35
and they
موظفة
are
مؤهلات
supervised
كلهم
by
بكالوريوس
35 female employees. They have,
الجهات
all of them
الداعمة
have BA,
والتمويلية لتعزيز قدرات
and
المرأة
the
طبعا في
supporters
وزارة الزراعة
and the
قرار
financial
وزاري أصدر رقم
supporters
41
women,
من 2010
the financial
باللائحة
supporters
التنفيذية بأن يحق
organizations
للمرأة
for the women
بإضافة أي مرأة
have many
ما
decrees,
هي ترغب في الإنشاء
especially the
مشروع
Royal Decree
زراعي
number
في القطاع
17 over
الزراعي والحيواني وأيا كان
41
مكان من
over
قطاعات الأمن
2010
الغذائي
that
بحقها أن تنشأ حتى
states that
ما
women
يشترط أنها
has the
تكون
right
عندها حيازة
to
زراعية أو أرض زراعية حتى لو
have
كانت في أحد
poultry
مزارع
yards
الذوية. وطبعا
even without any
منحها بدعم مالي
agricultural holdings
مادي بقدر
and
50%
she will
وأحيانا
have
يكون
financial
المبلغ فيما لا
support
قدر حسب
that
اللائحة
reach
وفق الجدول المعد
50%
المذكور في
and
لائحة
the
الدعم. طبعا
and
أيضا
the
وزارة
financial
التموين
system
وتنظيم
will be
التنمية الزراعية والسمكية
and the
وزارة
financial
التخطيط
amount will
والنماذج
be
يمكن
determined
اتخاذ الطرق لإيواء
according to the
الحيوانات
situation.
المرأة الريفية في
And
محافظة الجيزة.
also
أيضا من ضمن الجهات الداعمة هي هيئة تنمية المؤسسات الصغيرة والمتوسطة من خلال برنامج التمويل الخاص تمويل
and
المنتجات
also we're
الغذائية
having
والأعمال المنزلية والإنتاجية وأعمال البيع والهيكل
major
التجارية وغيرها.
small scale and
أيضا
major
من
scale
الجهات
also
الداعمة هو بنك
just for the
التنمية
women
من
to
خلال توسيع
empower her.
الشراكية ما بين وزارة الزراعة
Um,
والبنك التنمية
moreover, we're
بتدعيم
having
بمنتج
development
الريف
banks
لدعم وتشجيع المرأة
that
الريفية
have
في
agreements
أبريل
between
2021
the
وتم
minister
تدشين هذا المنتج
and
الريفي
the
برعاية
minister
السيدة
that
الجليل
hold an
الدولية
agreement in
في
2021
21
and it was under the
ديسمبر
supervision of
2021 وتم
السيدة
بنك
الجليلة
التنمية وافق على
and
تمويل 135
the
طن
development
لمنتج
bank
ريفي بأكثر
accepted
من
to fund
667
more
ألف
than
ريال
thousands
أمريكي
of
للمرأة الريفية.
demands which
أيضا من
reached
الجهات الداعمة
more than
لتعزيز قدرات
7,000
المرأة الريفية
Omani
من
riyal.
الناحية المسؤولية
Also,
المجتمعية القطاع
the
الخاص. حسب
supporters
إمكانيات
for
الحكومة عندنا
the women
بنسبة
in the
معينة اللي
private
هي
sector
تقريبا ما يقارب 5%
has
من
a
الشركة إنها يروح
5%
لمشاريع
of the
ودعم
support
المسؤولية المجتمعية في المختلف. وأيضا وطبعا المرأة
and
الريفية
5% of the fund will
من
be
ضمن المسؤولية المجتمعية
dedicated
اللي
for
ممكن
all
إنه
the
يكون في إلها دعم
women
فيها مثل هذه
responsibility in the
العمليات
society and the
واتفاقية
women
التعاون
is within
للزراعة شركة
the
الأردن
social
للحفاظ
responsibility in order
المواطنة
to be
على إنتاج
supported
الأكل. أيضا من ضمن المساهمات من
and
الجمعيات
they
الخيرية القطاع الخيري
maintain
وهذا نموذج من
of the
اتفاقية
women
دعم المرأة
citizens
العمانية
to
بينها الوزارة
on the
ودار
production
العقار
of
اللي هي
the
دار العقار.
dairies and
طبعا
there was an
أنا
agreement
أستعرض لكم
between the
فيديو يمكن
between the
شوية يكون
minister
طويل
and
لكن إن شاء الله يكون
many
على
other
الناقص.
associations.
فيه
I will
قصص
show you a
النجاح
video
تفضل.
of the successful stories of Sultanate of Oman.
مهندسة خالدة، حضرتك بدأتي الفيديو؟
أيوة.
لا، هو مش
Engineer
ظاهر
Khalda,
عندنا.
did you start the video? As we can see it.
أستاذة هناء، هل هو موجود عندك تقدري تعرضيه من ناحيتك؟
راح
Hannah,
أعمل
can
الشير
you
خلاص.
display it?
ظهر.
I will start sharing it.
أنا مش سامعة الصوت. مهندسة خالدة، الصوت واضح
أيوة.
متهيألي في.
أيوة.
إن شراكة المواطنين في صناعة حاضر البلاد ومستقبلها دعامة أساسية من دعامات العمل الوطني، ونحرص على أن تتمتع فيه المرأة بحقوقها التي
في
كفلها
صوت ولا
القانون،
ما في؟
وأن
صوت
تعمل
مسموع.
أوكي.
مع الرجل جنبا إلى جنب في مختلف المجالات خدمة لوطنها ومجتمعها، مؤكدين على رعايتنا الدائمة لهذه الثوابت الوطنية.
تسعى وزارة الثروة الزراعية والسمكية وموارد المياه إلى تأهيل المرأة الريفية ورائدات الأعمال من خلال برامج التنمية الريفية بتبني مشاريع ريادية في مجالات الثروة الزراعية والحيوانية والسمكية والصناعات المرتبطة بها، نظراً لأهميتها البالغة في المساهمة بتحقيق الاكتفاء الذاتي وتعزيز الأمن الغذائي وتوفير فرص عمل ذاتية وتعزيز الاستقرار في المجتمعات الريفية في سلطنة عمان. ويعد منتج ريفي من مخرجات الأعمال الريادية لدى التنمية الريفية، والذي صمم لتمويل مشاريع المرأة الريفية بالتعاون مع بنك التنمية العماني لتمكين قدرات المرأة الريفية والفتيات الباحثات عن عمل في المجالات الإنتاجية والتصنيعية والتسويقية، وتعزيز دورها الريادي في تنمية اقتصاد المجتمع الريفي وتحسين دخل الأسرة ومستواها الاقتصادي والاجتماعي. ويأتي هذا المنتج التمويلي مواكباً لرؤية عمان 2040 في التنويع الاقتصادي والاستدامة المالية، ومع أهداف الاستراتيجية الوطنية للتنمية الشاملة للقطاع الزراعي 2040 والهدف الخامس من أهداف التنمية المستدامة للأمم المتحدة وبنود اتفاقية سيداو.
قضت عهود 8 أعوام للبحث عن عمل بعد تخرجها من الجامعة في ولاية صحار، لكنها اليوم تدير مشروعها الخاص لإنتاج وتعبئة العسل الطبيعي بعد حصولها على قرض ممول من بنك التنمية العماني الحكومي ضمن مشروع يستهدف تمويل مشاريع متنوعة ل915 شابة عمانية من الأسر والباحثات عن العمل في الريف.
أحب أشكر وزارة الثروة الزراعية والسمكية وموارد المياه على دعمها الدائم لرائدات الأعمال ومشاريع المرأة الريفية. هذا اللي شجعني أكثر على أن أنتقل من باحثة عن عمل إلى مشروع تجاري والحمد لله في غضون مدة تعتبر ليست بسيطة 5 سنوات.
إذا يا بياد وبرم للعسل الطبيعي مؤسسة العهد الثاني للتجارة، عهود بنت راشد بن أحمد الشبلي. هي مجتمعية لدى شركة توسع محلي داخل السلطنة ومنافذ بيع في دول الخليج وتقوم.
شكرا جزيلا باشمهندسة خالدة. ولسه حضرتك حابة تضيفي حاجة أو
if you want to add anything or
عندنا
stay to
إحنا
Dr. Nasreen,
يعني
I'd like to
وفقا
tell you
لإطار
about
إعادة
the
التنمية للمرأة
recommendations.
الريفية
We'd like to launch an
بريادة
international
الأعمال،
board
أنشئ
for
دورها
rural women in
المركز الرئيسي في
entrepreneurship to
التدريب
create
الإلكتروني الذهني
um,
للمرأة
an
من
electronic
خلال
training
إعداد
platform
الخيارات
to
اللي
empower
تضم
rural women and to
مشاركة
exchange
المشاريع
international
الريادية
visits
للمرأة في
and
المعارض
to
الدولية اللي
participate
تقام
to make the
في
women
الدول.
participate in the
هذا المشروع
entrepreneur
شكرا لكم.
project and holding an annual forum or conference. That's all. Thank you so much, Engineer Khalda. And I'd like to repeat some keywords that you have said, that such as the collective responsibility, trainings, the role of the banks, and the most important recommendations such as the International Award for the Rural Women, and to have a platform also to empower the rural women and to make the women participate in the projects in international exhibitions and to also exchange international visits. And we will display this video in the platform of Oman. Thank you so much for this inspiring story from Sultanate of Oman and supporting the rural women locally and nationally. Now we're having another story from Algeria, from Miss Nabila Khalafawi, the focal point of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria, and she's specialized in the civil studies organizations and also the responsible one for the guidance institution. And now I'm giving you the floor.
شكرا دكتورة نسرين على التقديم. سعيدة
May peace and
جدا
blessings be upon you.
معكم.
Thank you, Dr. Nasreen, for
كل
presenting for me.
نقدم
I'm very happy
لجميع
to be among you
الموردين
all,
وجميع المشاركين
and I would
في
like
ورشة
to
العمل
extend
الخاصة بالتمكين
my thanks and
الاقتصادي
gratitude
وتكيف
for all
المناخ
the
التجاري
participants in
والمجالات لتحقيق
this
الأمن
workshop
الغذائي.
on economic empowerment and climate
اسمحوا
resilience
لي
of
أني نعرض
smallholder rural
قصتنا
women,
تحت
farmers
البيئة
for food
الريفية.
security. Allow me now to present to you success stories of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. Allow me to show my PowerPoint presentation. It is showing. You can go ahead. Doesn't show that it's moving. Okay, here we go. Of course, and before everything, I would like to thank Dr. Nisreen for presenting me, and I would like to also present myself a bit more. So I am a specialist in the agricultural field, and I've been working for 11 years with rural women. I do present the National Cell for the Frameworks of Support and Accompaniment of Rural Women in the National Institute of Agricultural Guidance in the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. I would like to talk about the role of the Algerian women in Al Maghreb region in general in the production process. She has a great role because she is a peasant and she is a part and parcel of our system. But there are other matters that make the gap wide from what she does versus what she earns. Of course, the INVA is concerned with shortening the gap between what they do and what they get. Therefore, the gap must be bridged by empowering them economically and socially. The total number of farmers in Algeria in 2022 was over 1,200,000 peasants. However, the registered percentage of the women peasants who have an official card of being peasants are only 5% of the total number of female peasants. And this is the only allowed number in our statistics. However, the actual number is above 1 billion of women who contribute in agricultural production. Since the 90s, the INVA have been establishing programs for training. However, the participation of women was very small. This is perhaps because there were some problems with having access to female farmers, especially in rural areas. And so since 2001, the National Institute of Agricultural Guidance has established a special extension body for them, which we have called the National Cells for Supporting and Empowering Women in the INVA. We also have national cells, as we call them, in the Mashriq region in the governorates. We currently have 58 governorates in Algeria, and in each state we have a national cell that accompanies and supports rural women, as well as directly work with them in all partnerships. These national cells in governorates are composed of women who are also cadres. They are engineers, senior technicians, veterinarians, etc., who are also from agricultural chambers, forest governorates, and the high governorates of the steppes. This small cell accompanies rural women. We will show you the experience of the national cell from the INVA, and we will also show the work it has been doing since 2001. The national cell in the INVA, of course, supports the national cells in the project of social and economic work to integrate rural women. This is done through organizing workshops, organizing training courses, integrating guidance programs, and conducting field research and social and economic ways related to rural women. We also do some media work through raising awareness and information and producing and broadcasting written and audiovisual support tools on the role of women. We also connect networks among organizations and stakeholders and actors when it comes to empowering rural women.
التجربة بدأت منذ سنة 2001 ولكن في معهد
The experience has been the same since 2001. However, it became stronger in 2018 when a national network composed of all structures have been combined to work for the benefits of rural women. We also have a Facebook page. You can all check them out kindly because it is a network that is available for everyone, where we share the activities of women in the field of rural development. Some of the most important work that we have done also is to establish a database so that we can conduct field and survey studies in Algeria. And in the year 2021, we have conducted a study on the analysis of the social and economic situation of women, which was the very first study that talked about and discussed the social and economic situation of women at the level of 22 states. Thankfully, the national cells were the best achievers in the field studies. They have prepared a study that we are currently about to establish on 2,800 rural women and peasants in Algeria. You can now see the pictures. These are the cell members who were interacting with the rural women who have exerted a lot of efforts to find statistics on their economic situation so that they can also propose projects that would help them eventually. Additionally, other things that we have achieved being national actors is that we have trained a lot of the national cells members on a lot of topics such as climate change, such as how to help women improve their income and how to have better connection in the fields, and many other training courses that we have conducted in order to support the cells, and they are currently carrying out their role to help rural women and peasants. And these are more pictures of our training courses that we have carried out with the cells members who are working with rural women. We've also conducted a lot of workshops and conferences on rural women. You can check these pictures out. And then other things that we have done is also publishing articles on agricultural guidance, because we have a magazine on agriculture, and we have conducted a new topic, which is rural women, where they share success stories every time, every article of women who are also entrepreneurs. They show the success stories that we can be inspired by. We have also produced a lot of films and reports that we always share on our YouTube channel, as well as Facebook page and our social media platforms on rural women. Other things that we have officially approved in Algeria and celebrate regularly is the International Day of Rural Women, which falls on the 15th of October each year to highlight the capabilities and activities of rural women. This day allows women to showcase their achievements. The last activity that we have conducted as a national cell is the project that we have carried out in the framework of strengthening the capabilities of rural women in the field of agriculture in fragile areas of Algeria in the years 2023 to 2024. We have cooperated with the AOAD in North Africa, in the regional office present in Algeria. The project was funded by the ESQA organization.
الأخت نبيلة، مهندسة نبيلة،
نعم.
إذا ممكن بننهي العرض علشان الوقت يعني، وهنحط العرض
خلاص،
متكامل في التسجيل. اتفضلي.
أكيد المشروع معروض، يعني تم
Okay,
فيه
the
تدريب
project
كثير
is
من
displayed
أعرف
and more than 90
العديد من
women were
المواضيع،
trained for
وتم
more than
تطبيق
many
أيضا تمويل
topics.
النساء الريفيين
And
في
also
الأسرة وغيرها
the
وغيرها.
rural
التسعير
the
المستقبل
rural
التجاري
farmers were
لنحو
funded,
بصدد إنجازها
and
هي
one
إنجاز
of the
مدارس حقلية خاصة
future
بالنساء
projects
الريفيات
is the
وإنشاء
farm or
كافيتريات
the rural
صحية
schools,
خاصة بالنساء
and
تختص
for the
بإحداث
women, and
مواضيع
also
جديدة
institutions,
في
national institutions, and to
مواهب
introduce
ودعم
many new
النساء
topics to
الريفيات.
support the
فضمن
rural women.
التوصيات
One of
أحبائي
the recommendations
لننهي
that I want to
بمساهماتكم
tell you and want to share it
نشتغلوا
with you
مع
is
الدول
that we have
العربية
to
على
work with
تحقيق
Arab
تقنيات على
states
تعميم
to
تلك الخلايا
correct
لأنها
the
أعطتنا
concepts and
ثمار
to correct the
رائعة
idea of these
وممتازة
cells
وإعلانا
because they were
على
great
أيضا
in
مزيد
the
من
field.
التوصيات
And
للمرأة
also
الريفية
another
مع أراضي
recommendation is to
محلية
integrate the women
منخفضة
in the
تكثيف المشاريع. التكوين لا يكفي.
development, in the agricultural
التدريب
development,
ممكن
and
إنه
to
يعطينا
train them
نتائج
and
على
to and this will
وشكرا
have
صراحة
great results and
لاستماع
great
وشكرا
consequences.
جزيلا.
Thank you all for your
مهندسة
listening.
نبيلة على
Thank you,
عرض هذه
Ms.
القصص
Nabila, for
الناجحة من
displaying and
الجزائر،
representing all the successful
والكلمات
stories from
المفتاحية اللي
Algeria.
ذكرتيها
And
هي
the key
تيسير العمل
points that you have
الإنتاجي
said
والوضع
is
الاجتماعي
the
المرن،
empowering
أهمية
the
توظيف
women in the
البرنامج التدريبية
agricultural
في
development
فكرة
and
الخلايا الوطنية
estimating
والخلايا
and
المحلية،
evaluating the national
أيضا وجود
project and
شبكة
the
وطنية
local
تضم جميع هذه
cells and the
القطاع
national network
الفلاحي،
that integrate
وإعداد
all
دراسات
the
قائمة على
rural
المعطيات
sectors and
للنساء
have studies
الريفية
based on
بالذات
the
في
givens
هدف
of the rural
المدارس
women,
الحقلية الخاصة
and as
بالنساء
well as the
الريفيات.
rural schools that
ونحن
are
ننتظر
specialized for the women.
شراكة
And
منظمة
we
البرنامج
are
الوطني اللي هي
waiting
الشبكة
for this
العربية
network.
للمرأة الريفية في
You are the
المحافظة،
organizer of the
وانتظار
network,
تحديث كل
and we
البيانات
are
مع
waiting for
شركة
you
لإطلاع
to
الجميع
renew and
عليها.
to update all the data
ننتقل
on the
الآن
network to
لقصة
be introduced
نجاح
to all of us.
أخرى
And
من
now
المشرق
we'll be
العربي
moving to
وبذور
another story
الحليبة
from
مع
مشرق.
المهندسة رباب عيسى
We will be
وردة.
moving to Miss
المهندسة
Rabab
رباب
Aisa
هي
Warda.
رئيس دائرة التنمية
She
الريفية
is the
مديرية زراعة اللاذقية.
engineer
تمت
in the
الدراسات العليا في وقاية
Department
النبات
of
طبعا
Syria, and
والتنمية
she
المرأة
had her
الريفية منذ
PA
عام
in the
2006.
plant studies,
ساهمت في
and
تنظيم العديد من
she
المعارض
contributed
والأنشطة التي
to
تدعم
many
المرأة الريفية
preparations
كوحدات
of the
التصنيع الغذائي وورش
exhibitions,
العمل
such
وإعداد
as the workshops
المشروعات.
of food and
مهندسة
the
رباب
preparations of
عندها عرض
projects as
طويل
well.
وثري جدا.
She's
أتمنى
having
الاستفادة
a
من العشر
great
دقائق مع
PowerPoint. I'd
المعرض لتكون
like to tell her
منشورة أيضا
to be
على
committed to the
الشبكة
time,
العربية.
and it will be
العرض
also
المتكامل مع تزيينه
presented
أيضا
on the Arab
بتفاصيل عن
network.
قصة النجاح.
And now
مهندسة
I'll be
رباب
giving
تفضلي.
her the floor.
أسعد الله أوقاتكم بكل خير. أتشرف بالحضور معكم
Thank
في
you
ورشة
all.
العمل.
I'm happy to be here with you,
سأعرض قصص
and I'll be
نجاح من
presenting
سوريا بلدي الحبيبة
successful stories from
وعملنا في
Syria, our beloved
الريف.
country, and our work in the rural regions.
طبعا هذا الفيديو تشكل
This
التنمية
is a
الريفية
video that
اهتمامات وزارة
show you
الزراعة،
all the
ولقد
rural
أهم
development
المحاور
that we're
الأساسية
working
في
on,
إدارة الريف
which is
الزراعي
considered the most important sector in the agricultural field.
خمس أجزاء تتركز حول بناء النموذج التنموي، إحداث المرصد الوطني للتنمية
And
الريفية
it is focused on the establishing of the National Observatory for Rural Development and measuring the urbanization, the Rural Development Support and Financing Fund, developing the value-added chains for rural products, and building a rural women's development strategy. And also, all of them were translated on ground during the last period. Together, we build a dream is the name of the project.
عبر تطبيق دليل التنمية المشاركة والمبادرات طبعا دليل التنمية الريفية
The
الذي
guide of the rural development, the integrated rural development guide based on many participations and local initiatives, and it is based on the participation of the civil society and the many organizations, the related organizations and the ones concerned as well. It is working on the managing local rural financial funds and rural product marketing centers as well.
تطوير سلاسل القيمة يهدف للبيئة التنظيمية ويمكن الأسر الريفية من توفير احتياجاتها. كان النموذج الأول في
And also
فترة
it is the first model was in the village of قطرة الريحان in Al-Ghab in April 2022.
Next. طبعا
Now we'll be talking about the executive mechanisms to the guide, and the vision was the existence of development villages with advanced agricultural economy based on the optimal and sustainable use of natural and human resources that are capable of managing the development and change process. As for the objectives, they are, as we have said beforehand, one of the most important objectives of this program is holding partnerships with people of the rural community. And in light of this, the ministry chose between many models, and after comparing all the models, we chose the village of Qatrat al-Rihan because it has many skills and has many advantages, including the people and also the agricultural skills as well. Work began in the village according to approved methodological stages, including communicating with local community and conducting studies and research with the partnership with the villagers, determining a matrix of problems and needs of the village in partnership with the villagers as well, drafting a development intervention matrix and participation and networking with relevant parties.
Next. أيضا المسامك
الأسرية. We were having also the family fisheries, and we had biodigesters. We had training on economic feasibility studies for projects, and it was followed by 150 trainers from the people of the village. Financing of individual and collective small projects, as 120 loans were financed. A total amount of 1,200,000,000 Syrian pounds. We linked with the loan risk guarantee corporation, and we established the rural microfinance fund as well to train the rural women on how to establish a project. We have also the sprouted barley, the home gardens to achieve self-sufficiency. We have also the smooth cactus. We have a network of sheep and cattle breeders. We formed a network of cattle and sheep breeders, including 40 breeders and 17 breeders, and also we distributed 40 groups for early detection of mass diseases, and we had agricultural waste grinders as well. We will summarize this in figures, as we will find that we have many families, and we have the families benefited from such projects from the projects are multiple ones.
يوجد لدينا في الريف السوري 33 وحدة تصنيع غذائي، الهدف منها إنشاء حاضنة لمشاريع ريفية.
And the goal is to establish incubators for our facilities in which we can provide support, whether it is financial or technical, in order to come up with women who are very well skilled and to come up with a product that has all the standards internationally, and of course help women in their participation of collective work. The objectives of this unit was to take care of the trees in Adalia, give some added value to its oil, protect the the products and also create job opportunities for women. The number of employees were 26 women. Of course, the production was of a great amount. Additionally, we have some executive mechanisms for the programs in the rural areas in Syria. We have 16 markets in Damascus, Hama, and many other regions. And now we will briefly talk about places of selling female products. The objectives of the project were to find for example, in Laziqiyah Governorate, we have a lot of food industry projects with the aim of preserving the identity and heritage of the rural areas, as well as create job opportunities for rural women. Of course, we have also supported rural women and the Syrian product nationally and globally. Additionally, we have documented all processes of production in order to provide a good quality Syrian product and many other products that are of our heritage in the region. Of course, as for lending, we do have a lot of projects that aim at helping smallholder rural women. And in our civil registry, we also can find a lot of projects that are of small and medium enterprises. And they are very widespread in their rural Syrian regions, where the data are exchanged. And we can find training courses, we can have loans, we can have a lot of workshops.
مهندسة رباب إذا ممكن بس تنتقلي للتوصيات لأنه باقي معنا دقيقة واحدة.
Can you kindly just move to the recommendations? Yes, sure. As for the recommendations, is to promote our trade, to promote the rural Syrian product, as well as working on the funding of collective projects and establishing incubators through facilitated loans from the private and public sectors. This is in addition to providing support for their production for the small and micro enterprises, as well as establishing an electronic platform to market for the Syrian project.
الشكر لك مهندسة رباب على هذا العرض الثري.
Thank you so much, Engineer Rabab, for this fruitful presentation. We hope that all this information will be present on our website. Of course, our keynote statements were very important. Of course, we aim at supporting the rural women and the developing projects that have a developed activity, as well as establishing multi-purpose units, incubators for rural projects, And here I would like to say that the AOAD is about to launch the incubators, the electronic incubator project for supporting small enterprises and the importance of funding and micro enterprises in addition to electronic or virtual trade. Thank you so much again, Engineer Rabab. And now we move on to our second session. Thank you all very much, our three speakers, and our communication will continue through our network and through Women
شكرا
Development
جزيلا دكتورة
Organization. Thank you.
نسرين على إدارة هذه
Thank you, Dr.
الجلسة،
Nasreen,
وشكرا
for
جزيلا لكم جميعا
managing this
متحدثات
session.
على
And
هذه
thank you
القصة
all for
المهمة.
the speakers
نفتح
for this
الآن المجال
um,
لطرح
uh,
الأسئلة من
successful
الحضور،
stories.
ولكن
And
بداية
now I'm
سأطلب
giving the floor
من
to the
سؤالين.
audience to give us
لو في أي أسئلة يمكن
questions, and
كتابتها
we'll
من
be
خلال
giving them
الشاشة
answers.
أو
If you have any
خلال
question, you can put it
رفع اليد.
in the conversation box.
لا أرى أي أسئلة.
I don't see
أوكي دكتورة
any
حنان
questions. We're having
فلتتفضلي.
Dr. Hanan. I'm giving you the
مرحبا
floor.
جميعا ويعني معلومات
Welcome
تثرينا
all of
جميعا.
you.
نحن نشوف بالوطن
The
العربي
information
والإسلامي كثير
were
من
very valuable, and it's such an honor
المشاريع
to see
والبرامج الخاصة والموجهة
these projects and
للمقاولات الريفية
programs that are
عاشر
dedicated
الفلوس.
for the rural
أنا
women in the
سؤالي
Arab world.
للدكتورة نبيلة من
I have a
الجزائر.
question to Miss
كثير أرى أو
Nabila,
رأيت في عرضك
Dr. Nabila.
الكثير من
I have seen in your
البرامج التنموية
presentation
الخاصة
a lot of
بالمرأة واللي
programs,
كانت
development
أغلبها
programs
في
dedicated to
مجال
women, and
الإنتاج
most of
والزراعة.
them were
فهل
in
هناك
the agricultural
مشاريع
sector.
تنموية
So, are we
موجهة
having any
ومكثفة
development
للمرأة في الجزائر
programs
في الجزائر بخصوص
to in
الإنتاج
Algeria
الحيواني
dedicated to
وخاصة
women
الألبان،
regarding the
لأن
animal
هناك
production,
طلب
especially the
كثير عن الألبان في
dairies,
الجزائر والمعروض
as it
والمستورد
has a
أو
great
المنتج
demand
المحلي
in
هو أقل.
Algeria, especially the exported one, as the local
بس
production
للعلم
is a
الجزائر
low
أنا
one.
أعتبرها
And
يعني ليست
for
فقط
your info,
أسلوبا
I
لسلة
consider
الغذاء العربي
Algeria
ولكن أيضا الجزائر
it's not
هي
the
يعني
lifeblood
تزخر
of the food.
بأرض جميلة وخصبة
It is
وقادرة
a very
على أن
fertilized land,
تحقق أمر
and it is
كبير في
able
عالمنا
to achieve
العربي
food
والعالم
security in
الإسلامي.
our
شكرا لكم.
Arab world.
شكرا ليكي دكتورة
Thank you so
حنان.
much.
مهندسة
Thank
نبيلة
you, Dr. Hanan.
فلتتفضلي، ويعني نختصر
Engineer
الإجابة
Nabila,
في دقيقتين
I'm
للحفاظ على
giving you
الوقت.
the floor, and I ask you to summarize your answer, please, in 2 minutes. Thank you, Dr. Hanan, for your question. And as for the development programs and projects, it's known that the Algeria has varieties of dairies, and now we are training many rural women and farmers on how to convert the milk of the goats, the milk of cows, to convert them through many tools in the field of the milk conversion. And also we have many other projects that are related to the rural products. Some types of cheese that are produced by the rural women, and most important example on this, the cheese of Buhizza, as it is a special one produced from the cow milk, and some herbs are natural herbs are added to it. And we have the origin name of it, and we're preserving it as well. There are so much products,
دكتورة نبيلة عفوا، ما هي
animal
التحديات
products in
والاحتياجات
Algeria. Dr. Nabila,
والضروريات
I would like to know, what
التي
are the
تواجهها
challenges
المرأة
that
الريفية
the rural
للوصول
women
إلى
are facing, and
يعني
how can
مستوى
we
مرضي
face them
من
in
العمل
order to
والإنتاج
achieve a high level of
يعني تكون
production,
فائدة اقتصاديا
and
للجزائر
to
في هذا
be
المجال.
economically empowered in this field? Among all the challenges that the women are facing in Algeria is marketing, because most of the rural women are not introduced to the marketing, packaging, or campaigning methods. And the knowledge side is present. However, it is in a very traditional way. Now we're working on the training side, trying to introduce them and to teach them the technological part and the techniques on how to market for their products, and how to value and put prices on the products as well.
شكرا أستاذة.
بس نقطة أحب أضيفها هنا إن
Another point
المنظمة
I'd like
العربية
to add
للزراعية
that
من خلال
the
شبكتها ستقوم بعرض
AOAD
التدريبات
will
التي قمنا
present
بعقدها
a
سنة
training
بالأردن
that we
في
held, such as the
أساليب
Jordan
إعلان
training, on
التعبئة
the techniques
والتغليف
on the techniques of
التسويق
packaging
توجيه التسويق
and cleaning,
الإلكتروني وكيفية
as well
إعداد
as
جدوى
marketing
اقتصادية
and electronic
لإنشاء
marketing,
المنتجات
and how to make
لمشاركة هذه
a
المعرفة
study
مع جميع
feasibility,
الدول. فنحن
share
الآن إن
this
شاء الله
knowledge with
بصدد
all the
إعداد
states. And
فيديوهات
now we are
للاحتراف
working on
بهذا
preparing this
الموضوع
videos
واللي
professionally
شاركنا في
on
الاتحاد
such
العربي
topic,
للصناعات الإنتاجية
and
لتوصيل المعرفة عبر
and we
هذه
are
المنصات.
many organizations are working with
أرى
us
سؤال
on this
آخر من
project.
دكتور إبراهيم
I have
لسوريا
another
عن
question from
الدعم
Dr.
الذي
Ibrahim
يتم
in Syria
تقديمه
on the
للنساء
support
الريفيات
provided for the
بجانب
rural women
التدريب. ما هو
aside
الدعم المالي
the
الذي
training.
يقدم؟
What is the financial
شكرا دكتورة
support?
نسرين.
Thank you,
السؤال
Dr.
موجه
Nisreen. The
لباشمهندسة
question
رباب.
is for
تفضل.
Engineer
نعم
Rabab.
هل سمعتي
So I'm
سؤال
giving her the
المهندسة
floor.
رباب؟
Have you heard the question,
ممكن
Ms. Rabab?
اسمع.
Can you repeat it again?
حضرتك عندك صوت صدى.
I think you have an
السؤال هو
echo.
بجانب تقديم
The question
التدريب
is related to
ما
the
هي الموارد
نعم
المادية
training.
التي
Aside
تقدم
training,
للنساء
what are the
الريفيات في
financial
سوريا؟
or the
صحيح
tangible
دكتور إبراهيم.
support that are provided for the women
الموارد
in
التدريبية
Syria? The
تتوفر
training
عن طريق قروض
sources
ميسرة
are
بالتعاون مع
provided
الوزارة
directly throughout
الصناعي التعاون
facilitated
بالإضافة
loans
إلى مصارف
throughout
الخاصة
many
نعم
rural
بالإضافة إلى
rural
الإعلان عن
organizations.
الوكالات
In
الزراعية
addition to
التي
the
تخدم العائلات الريفيات فنحن
funds
على
that
مستوى
are provided for the rural
الزراعة الأسرية
women,
قدمنا
we
العديد
are on the
من
level of the
المناحة
family
والمدخول بالذات
agriculture. We have
لبناء
provided many
الحدائق
funds
المنزلية
in order to
بالإضافة
construct
إلى
the home gardens. This
تمويل
comes
أو
in addition
الحاضنات
to
ذات التصنيع
financing the
والآلات
incubators
التي
of the
يتبعها
industrialization,
دعم
and
حكومي نعم 90%
they are all
دعم
funded
حكومي
by the
للمنتجين من
government
خلال
and by the
اللقاح
government
تأمين
finance
الآلات
throughout the
والمعدات
insurance of the
بالإضافة
tools and the
إلى
equipment, in
دعم
addition
أيضا
to
البعض
supporting
المنظمات في
of
رسم
provided by some
استثمارات اللازم
organization
لإنشاء هذه
in order to
المشاريع
have the
فنحن
main
ندعم
capital to
المرأة
establish this
الريفية
unit.
عن
So
طريق
we support the
التدريب
rural
عن
farmer
طريق
through
التمويل سواء
training,
بقروض
through
ميسرة أو
financing
منح
and funding, either by facilitating
وبالإضافة
loans
إلى
or funds,
تقديم
um,
المراكز
in
التصنيع
addition
ذات
to
التصنيع
providing
تقديم صالات العرض للبيع بشكل
industrialization
مجاني
centers
لمنتجات
and
النساء
units, and
الريفيات.
also
شكرا جزيلا
sale,
مهندسة
and also
رباب.
providing halls
شكرا
for
جزيلا
sale.
لجميع
Thank you, Ms.
المتحدثين.
Rabab,
إذا
and
كانت
thank
هناك
you for all the
أسئلة أخرى
speakers.
برجاء
If you
كتابتها
have
في
any other
المحادثات
questions,
وسيتم تناولها
please
في الجلسة القادمة.
write it down
الآن
in the
ننتقل إلى
conversation
الجلسة الثانية
box.
التي
And
تركز
now
على
we'll be moving to
الاستراتيجيات
session
لتحويل
number
أنشطة
2, which
النساء
focuses on
الريفيات
the
عند
strategies for
فرص
transforming
صغيرة مستدامة.
smallholder women
هذه الجلسة
activities into
ستتناول برامج
sustainable
إنشاء القدرات
opportunities.
والتدريب المهني التي
It will
تعد وسيلة
handle
مهمة
the
لتعزيز
project
الزراعة
and the
الريفية
training,
مناخيا وتطوير
um,
المهارات
which is
الريادية لدى
considered a
النساء.
part
نبدأ
of
أولا
the
مع الدكتورة
climate
نورهان
agriculture.
علي
Now
من جامعة
we
طنطا
will
للعلوم
start
والتكنولوجيا في
with
الصومال للحديث عن الزراعة
Mr.
الذكية مناخيا، ثم ننتقل إلى السيدة أنجم أسعد
Ibrahim
وهي
Dani
رائدة
Ali,
العمارة
and then we'll be
الزراعية
moving
من
to
باكستان
Miss
للحديث
Anjem
عن تمكين النساء وتحسين
Asad,
المهارات
and she will be, she's
الريادية.
an agricultural
ثم
interpreter.
ننتقل إلى السيدة
And then
مارغريت
we'll be
ناجي من
moving
الأردن
to Miss
للحديث عن
Natalie
تقنيات إدارة
Nemri
المياه
from
المبتكرة
Jordan to
والزراعة
talk about the
المستدامة.
innovative water
كما
management
يسعدني
techniques
أن
for
أرحب
sustainable
بالدكتور عبد
agriculture.
العزيز
And I'd
حجاجي
like to
مسؤول البرامج
welcome Dr.
والمشاريع
Abdulaziz
بالمنظمة
Hajjaji.
الإسلامية
He is
للأمثال
the
بالريف
um,
لإدارة هذه
main
الجلسة.
director for the
فلتتفضل دكتور عبد
AOAD.
العزيز.
Dr. Abdulaziz, I'm giving you the floor.
شكرا جزيلا الأخت هناء.
Thank
السلام
you,
عليكم
Miss
ورحمة الله
Hannah.
تعالى وبركاته.
May peace be upon all of you
شكرا
all.
جزيلا الأخت هناء
Thank you, Miss Hannah.
والمشاركين على
And thank you
تنظيم
for
هذه
all the
الورشة
participants for
وأهنئكم على
organizing this
نجاحها.
workshop. I congratulate all of
بما
you
أن عندي
on its success.
متحدثين يتحدثان باللغة
Uh,
الإنجليزية سأدير هذه الورشة هذه الحصة
I'll be
باللغة الإنجليزية
monitoring this session
وأذكر
in
المشاركين
English,
أنهم يمكن اختيار
I remind all the
التواصل
participants
طرق لغة
that you can choose
بالفرنسية اللغة العربية
whatever language you'd like to listen
Ladies and
to.
gentlemen, distinguished participants and esteemed speakers, it's my honor. Wait, because I'm here. Okay, it's okay now. So it's my honor to moderate this vital session on tailored education, capacity building, and skills training programs. I'm Dr. Abdelaziz Hajjaji. I'm program manager at the Islamic Organization for Food Security, responsible on three programs: climate impact, water management, and plant protection. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Women Development Organization and the Arab Organization for Agriculture Development for their invaluable collaboration in making this workshop a success. And thank you to invite the Islamic Organization for Food Security to be part of this important gathering. So today we will delve into the strategies that support smallholder rural women farmers, equipping them with the skills and knowledge necessary to adapt to climate change, improve agriculture productivity, and foster economic growth. As we all know, smallholder women farmers play a critical role in rural economics, especially in our region, Islamic region, particularly in developing countries. Despite the significant contribution these women make, they face numerous challenges that limit their potential for economic empowerment and resilience. So through this session, we aim to bridge this gap by offering insight into climate-smart agriculture, entrepreneurial skills, and innovative water management techniques. As in the program agenda for this session, we are privileged to have three distinguished experts who will share their knowledge and experiences. We will have Professor Dr. Ibrahim Ali, a senior agriculture and rural development specialist from Zamzam University of Sciences and Technologies from Somalia. We'll start as of with insights into advancing sustainable agriculture through climate-smart agriculture. He will explore how climate-smart practices can enhance agriculture productivity while building resilience against climate change. The second presentation will be presented by Mrs. Anjum Asad Amin. She is from Pakistan, an agriculture entrepreneur. She is CEO of ELY Foundation. This foundation works for skill development for rural girls. Mrs. Anjum Asad will deliver a presentation on empowering women farmers with entrepreneurial skills. She will share strategies that enable women to transform their agriculture activities into profitable ventures, enhancing economic empowerment in their communities. The last presenter for this session will be Mrs. Natalie Nimri, a technical expert from Inter-Islamic Network on Water Resources Development and Management in Jordan. She will present innovative water management techniques for sustainable agriculture. So we'll learn from her expertise. She will shed light on how sustainable water management practices, as they are experts in this domain, can significantly improve agriculture productivity and resilience in water-scarce environments. So thank you. And now let's invite the first presenter, Professor Ibrahim Dagan. Please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, can I display or you will be displaying?
هل يمكنني أن أعرض أم ستعرض أنت؟ يمكنك أن تعرض من عندك. إن أردتني أن أعرض لك فلا مشكلة، أخبرني.
Can you please put the screen? Yes, thank you.
هل تستطيعون رؤية الشاشة؟
While she's putting, I would like to thank Dr. Abdelaziz Hajjaji.
أريد أن أشكر الدكتور عبد العزيز عجاجي وكذلك كل المشاركين الموجودين معنا. هذه الندوة مهمة جدا وهذه ورشة عمل مهمة جدا. دكتور إبراهيم، هل تستطيع أن ترى الشاشة؟
It is an honor for me to join this team. And I would like
إنه لشرف لي أن أنضم إليكم اليوم، وأريد أن أشكر منظمة تنمية المرأة
IOFC Islamic Organization for Food
وكذلك
Security
المنظمة الإسلامية للأمن الغذائي اللذان ينظمان ورشة العمل المهمة هذه، وأتمنى أن نتعلم من بعضنا بعض وأن نحقق تطورات في بلادنا الإسلامية حول العالم. شكرا لك دكتور إبراهيم، يمكنك أن تبدأ، وعندما ترغب مني أن أقلب في العرض قل لي next.
I'm Dr. Ibrahim Dagana Ali, and I am graduate of agribusiness
أنا
in my
دكتور
bachelor.
إبراهيم علي، وأنا خبير في المجال الزراعي. كانت درجتا الماجستير والدكتوراه الخاصين بي في هذا المجال.
And I've been working in agricultural and rural development sector.
أنا لا أزال أعمل بالزراعة والفلاحة.
دكتور إبراهيم you can see your presentation now.
Yes, please
دكتور
display.
إبراهيم يمكنك أن تعرض الآن. فضلا أعرض. هل يمكنك أن ترى الشاشة؟ أعتقد أنك تعرضين. لحظة واحدة. لحظة واحدة دكتور إبراهيم.
Okay, thank you.
شايفين.
Yeah, thank you very much. My topic today involves specifically on how we can advance sustainable agriculture using or through climate agricultural, climate smart agriculture. As you are aware, Somalia is located in the Horn of Africa. The first slide. Yeah, brief geographical information of Somalia. Somalia is located in the Horn of Africa between the latitude of 10 and 30 in the north and 10 and 30 in the south, and between the longitude 41 and 00 east and 51 degree to 25 in the west. Somalia shares borders with, everybody knows, as you can see in it. I will not be spending time, but Somalia has a large land area. The total land is 6,038,000 square kilometers. And out of that, 13% is arable land. That means that is a land that is suitable for cultivation, which means 8.1 hectares are arable land that can be cultivated. On the other side, the rest of the land, 45% is for livestock rearing. It's a nomadic rural livestock raising. And we have also a long coast, which is 3,330 kilometers along the Red Sea or Gulf of Aden up to the Indian Ocean. Next, please. As you can see, we have also two rivers. If you look the map, there are two lines coming from the Ethiopian side that are supplying water, and there are the two rivers which are we call Juba and Shabelle. And the Juba is stretched up to 1,800 kilometers, while and it has an area catchment that it can irrigate up to 250,000 square kilometers. If you change to hectares, you can understand that. Shabelle River is also 1,000 long, and it has a catchment of 3,000 square meters. And there's Dao River. You can read before the climate crisis, it was Juba River was providing an annual water flow of 6 billion cubic meters, while Shabelle was providing 2 million cubic meters. Somalia is climatically in tropical, it's in the equator, and the climate average runs 25 to 35 degrees Celsius. Rainfall is 4 seasons, 2 rainy seasons, 1 coastal showering, and 1 dry season. The humidity ranges from 82 to 3 up to 82 during the wet season. During dry season, 62 When it's wet, the humidity is high. Next. The other is coastal shower. Okay, let's talk about the role agriculture plays. Agricultural sector in Somalia is the main economic stake, and it contributes to, the population is 20 million, and agriculture contributes up to 50% of the GDP of the country, and it employs up to 80% of the population that cultivate crops, rear livestock, and do fishing. 70% of Somali farmers are small farmers, are women. So that indicates that women really cultivate, play a significant role in the national economy, as well as and most of them are in the rural, which comprises women, farmer owners, farmer laborers with limited financial resource. They are also main breadwinners of the rural farm households, by which the majority are in the rural and areas than the urban. Next slide, please. Okay, the impact of climate change. Over the past, Somalia has suffered a lot of impact of climate effects, climate change effects, such as the drought, floods, outbreak of pests and diseases in a short and frequent cycles or intervals. That means before historically, Somalia has experienced droughts for every 10 years. That happened 1965. It happened also 74. It happened 82, 94. But when it came to the last 20 years or 15 years, it became shorter and shorter due to the climate impact of climate change. And one of the experiences we had was that 2010, 11, there was a famine in the country where we have lost 250,000 people, especially in the southern area, which were the food basket of Somalia. And that have really awakened the importance of climate. People become aware of the impact of climate change. It also creates affected the children, especially, and affected the mothers who are lactating or breastfeeding, because when it is a drought or famine, it severely affects the women household, the women-led households. But also when there is a drought, the water becomes scarce, the pasture for rural or nomadic farmers is depleted. Then what happens is that there is a conflict. It induces conflict. So the adaptation and on mitigation of on benefits from efforts supporting the agricultural intervention that boosts farmers' knowledge and resilience capacities have been promoted. Next slide.
Yes, Dr. Ibrahim, we're in the next slide.
Okay. The role of agriculture, I've talked about that. The definition of sustainable agriculture and climate smart agriculture. We need to understand what do we mean sustainable agriculture. And sustainable agriculture also is a farming practices in a way or in such a way to protect the environment, aid and expand natural resource, and to make the best uses of non-renewable. This was quoted from the National American Library. That's how they really describe. Sustainable agriculture is also farming in an economically and socially sustainable agricultural system is one that enables farmers of all sizes to become profitable and contribute to the local economy. The concept of sustainable agriculture is an approach or farming system that produces abundant food without depleting the earth resource or land resource or polluting its environment. The concept is based on that fact that any farming systems is focused to make sure there is a food security. At the same time, without depleting the resource, uh, land and water resource, or polluting the environment. The concept of sustainable development is therefore a response to the decline in the quality of natural resource base associated with modern agriculture. Modern agriculture. The sustainable concept has been promoted. The adjustment in conventional agriculture to make it more environmentally and socially viable. This is, in other words, it says that we have been focusing more on what you call it, increasing yield, and we were putting a lot of chemical fertilizers, using chemical pesticides, using tractor for plowing and land preparation that make the soil compact. And all of them, we never regarded the importance of the environment. So, but now we realize it because of the concept of sustainable agriculture focuses more on the agroecological balance in the farming. The concept of climate change, on the other hand, the concept of
I'm sorry for disturbing.
Yeah.
Please try, due to the limited time, try to move a little bit faster.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we can, yeah.
Okay. The concept of
We
climate
have
change.
2 minutes now.
Yeah, the concept of climate change is managing agro ecosystem to achieve food security and sustainable livelihood through adaptation of cumulative smart agricultural technologies and good agricultural practices that protected the natural resource and the environment. Okay, let's move to climate smart. What we aim to achieve. To achieve climate smart agriculture and enhance food security, the following climate smart agricultural technologies should be introduced to the farmers and promote among the bachelors in rural areas. Number one, we need to introduce a drought-tolerant varieties or inputs with high quality. We need to integrate climate smart technologies, approaches in land resource management. We need to construct the rainwater harvesting technologies that includes building the reservoirs, dams, and rain harvesting technologies. We also have to promote greenhouse, introduce greenhouse technologies that include the hydroponics or using drip irrigations and others. Precision farming is another one. Agricultural drones, all these technologies with ground land based sensors, digital farming technology that are very important too. Aside from this, we need to introduce integrated best and disease management through the farmers field school and based on agro ecosystem analysis approach. Using biological pesticides and using predators, use of microbials, and mixed farming and crop rotation. And lastly, to use organic fertilizers. We have to focus in if we want to achieve sustainable development in technologies, we have to focus on research, and we have to carry out what you call climate resilient agriculture technologies through research and development. And currently, we are getting toward those technology. However, in this process, it's very expensive to engage this product, these climate smart technologies, because most of the small farmers cannot afford, especially women farmers, because they have less capacity, they have less knowledge, and they are mostly illiterate in Somalia. These are the critical factors that limits. But aside from that, there is a need to invest. And how can we achieve that one? That's currently in Somalia, we are taking an initiative of advancing sustainable development in agricultural sector through the climate smart technology. And how we do it, we are trying to encourage to adapt it to combine the two, the indigenous or the traditional, and to these new tools, how they can be improved and be used together. With that means we need to develop a product related to climate smart agriculture. Also, those technology we need to integrate, and also we need to collaborate to the international and local organizations to foster and innovative industry leaders to drive this innovation and introduce a green supply chain, reduce the carbon footprint, conservation of ecosystem, and biodiversity. And lastly, not the least, is the water conservation or water management systems that use drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, and other other ways of conserving the water consumption in agricultural sector. Women are the heart of the development in Somalia, especially rural women. They are the ones who are managing. Unfortunately, less attention has been given in the past. And those we call it rural farmers who are in the rural areas are less focused, and the advantage is being taken by those in the urban. And I would like to thank you to end my presentation. And if you have a question, I'm ready to answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ibrahim. So we'll have, by the end of this session, discussion, we may give more information about your case. So we'll move directly to the second presentation. Mrs. Anjum Assad, please, the floor is yours.
Mrs. Anjum, I'll be sharing your screen. Just please, when you need to flip between slides, let me know and say next. Can you see your screen now? You're muted. Please unmute yourself.
We can't see the screen.
You can't see the screen?
Yeah, we can't see the presentation. We see your screen.
Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Anjum, can you speak, please?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you very much. Anjum Assad Amin here from Pakistan. First of all, my deep gratitude for having me here. And it was pleasure listening to all the speakers, quite knowledge. Thank you very much to WDO and Arab Organization for Agriculture. My presentation is regarding imparting entrepreneurial skills to the women farmers. Pakistan is has huge population. Our population is 241 million, out of which 90 million are associated with agriculture. And of those associated with agriculture, 45 million are rural women. Women have very important role to play in generally, that's what they do in all the countries, in crop production, sowing, transplanting, weeding, harvesting, post-harvest operation like threshing, drying and storage, and poultry and dairy also. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yes, but the role finishes there and then. The reason is that women are not owners of the land, women lack technology, women lack mobility, women do not have the skill development opportunities which they deserve to be provided. And most of all, very low literacy level amongst the women who are in rural areas, and then psychological and social barriers and cultural norms, traditional beliefs, and less availability of time with the family and everything. I'm talking about most of the women. There are examples of very successful entrepreneurs who are attached with the farming, but I'm speaking on behalf of the poor rural women who are based in remote areas where there's little access of education, little access of skill development. Most of the skill developments, as you know, the centers, they are located in the cities, not in the remote areas. Myself being a person associated with agriculture and the CEO of a company, I've been trying to impart skills from the private sector side, but that's not the focus of today's presentation. Let's go next. Next, please. Next slide, please. Next. Yes. The issue is that women decision making ends when the crop cycle ends, when the sowing is when the sowing transformed to the storage, the woman's role is finished. The decision goes to the other family members, mostly to the men, where to market the product, whether to add value, what are the entrepreneurial decisions, and the income also comes to the men, not to the women. That's the big issue. I think the one slide is missing. Can we go back to the slide, previous slide? Yes. No, previous. Challenges. Yes. All these factors, they do not provide the opportunities to the women to turn into successful entrepreneurs. Why? Because at the basic level, when the raw material is being produced and the grains are being done and the dairy, the women are functioning and playing their role. But when it comes to the decision making and reaping the benefits, she's not there anymore, for the reasons which I have highlighted here. Yes, actions and interventions, please. Next. Yes. What we need to do at the level of civil society and by everyone is to raise the literacy level of the women working in the rural areas, to develop their personalities for self-confidence, self-reliance, and to become more independent. Their training and skill development, their awareness by the civil society, provision of credit facilities, of course, provision of credit facilities is one big issue that the remote rural women lack. And then the inheritance. Most of the land that's owned by the agriculturists is through inheritance or purchased. Such poor women in the rural areas, they cannot purchase and their land is inherited. Rules are there as per inheritance laws, but it's not implemented. Or women, they give in their lands to their brothers or to husband or other family members. They don't own the land. And as they don't own the land, the situation changes. They are just working like any labor and not owning the resources the way they should. Next, please. Next, please. Yes. With government's intervention or with the intervention of the civil society, the outcomes are very promising. And we all know and we share and we have seen that the women will get more income and the family will get income and financial empowerment. Their recognition in the family and society, their role in decision making will emanate once they become entrepreneur and once they add value and once they become the bread earners of the family. And also contribution to poverty eradication and nourishment for the kids and the family and supporting the prosperity of the family. But how it will be done? Next. Yes, it's the role of the government to provide literacy educational facilities in the remotest far-flung areas. It's not for the private sector because they cannot make profit by private education setup of the schools from these rural women or these areas. And in order to address their psychological and social constraints, there should be some provision from the school level to address these aspects of the personality. Government has to provide financial capital and have to provide financial capital and the access through very simplified procedures, knowing that these women are not very literate. And then technical skill training, which is actually based in cities and the urban areas, we have to take it to the rural and remote areas. Technology, yes, technology has a big role to play, but such women in the rural areas, due to cultural and traditional issues, they don't own mobiles, they have no access to technology, they are sometimes not allowed to own a mobile. And things are very different on surface, and things are very different once you are there and observe with your own eyes, whatever the situation is. What we need to do is to have sustained, long-term, repeated government actions, government's roles, government policies. This is where the women are shown with the next photo, please. The photograph, women are working in the fields along with the men. Next, please.
किन्नू पक के लालो गए जेथुना से पद विस.
This is quinoa, orange, value-added products like moringa, sustainability without use of chemical fertilizer and pesticides, value addition, garlic powder, moringa. These are the basic things where the women are basically adding value. This was a training workshop for value addition to the rural women that was held on 15th October, where we tried to teach them how to add value to a number of products. There were almost 100 or more women, but the reach out was by the civil society, by the private sector, and government needs to do a lot over there. Next, please. Thank you very much. That's all. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Ms. Anjum. Yes,
Thank
sure.
you.
We'll have this panel
To finish
for
in time. I
discussion.
hope I met the timeline, not exceeded the time.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So now let's move to the third and last presentation for this session, for the second session.
Engineer Natalie?
Please, Mrs.
Yeah, I'm here, yeah.
Natalie Nimri,
Can
the
you
floor is
see
yours.
Could you
You
hear?
may, yes, you may present yourself shortly, and your organization in Wardam is one of our partner.
Yeah.
You may give small information about it and go ahead with your
Yeah,
presentation.
for sure. It will be represented.
Thank you.
Could you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, clear.
Yes,
Can you see
that's
the
great.
screen?
Still not.
Okay. Can you see the screen now?
Yeah, it's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
راح أحكي بالعربي كونه طلب منا نجهز البرزنتيشن بالعربي. أول إشي شكرا
I will
جزيلا
speak in
دكتور عبد
Arabic
العزيز
because I
للجهود
was
ومس هنا
asked to
وتنظيم
speak in
الرائع
Arabic.
والشكر الجزيل لجميع
Thank you all,
القائمين على هذه
Dr.
الورشة
Abdul
القيمة
Aziz and
والحضور
Ms.
الرائع.
Hannah for
يعطيكم
moderating,
العافية
and thank
جميعا
you to
وأسعد
all
الله أوقاتكم.
participants for coming to this
بشرفني اليوم
workshop.
أن
I
أكون
hope you all
معكم
have a wonderful
للحديث
day.
عن تقنيات
I'm
إدارة
honored
المياه
to be
المبتكرة
among
لتحقيق
you, and
الزراعة
I'm very
المستدامة.
happy to be speaking about the
وأعمل
innovative
كخبيرة
water
فنية
management
بالشبكة
techniques for
الإسلامية
sustainable
لتنمية وإدارة
agriculture.
مصادر المياه.
I work
بالبداية
as
راح
a
أقدم نبذة
technical
نظرية
expert
عن
in
هذا
the
الموضوع من الناحية
INWRDAM,
النظرية.
I will briefly speak about this issue from the theoretical point of view.
وكون بتهدف الورشة إلى بناء القدرات المرأة
The
الريفية
workshop,
المناضلة
since it
قسمت
is
هذه
working on
التقنيات إلى
empowering
تقنيات ذات
rural
تكلفة
women,
عالية
I
وتقنيات ذات
have
تكلفة
divided the
منخفضة اللي
techniques
تسهل على
into
المرأة
high
الريفية
cost techniques
تطبيقها
and low
بدون
cost
أي
techniques
تكاليف عالية
that
ولا
rural
الحاجة
women
إلى
can
صيانة
apply
متكررة
without the need
وبرضه
to any
لضمان ديمومة هذه التقنيات.
continuous maintenance or high
والتقنيات أيضا
costs.
المرتفعة ممكن للنساء
We also have high cost
السيدات
techniques,
القابلات ذو الدخل
perhaps
المرتفع أو اللي
other
بتحصل
women who
على
have
منح
higher
تنظيم
incomes
طبق هاي
or
التقنيات.
who get loans
أول
can
تقنية عندنا من
apply
التقنية
these techniques.
ذات
The
التكاليف
first technique
المرتفعة أو
from the
نحكي
high cost
المتوسطة
techniques,
لمرتفعة
or we
هي
can
الري
say
بالتنقيط.
perhaps
الري
medium
بالتنقيط ينقل
cost
المياه
techniques.
مباشرة إلى
The first
جذور
is
النبات
drip
من
irrigation.
خلال شبكة
This,
من
of course,
الأنابيب والصمامات
makes the water
والمرشات.
reach the
بتساعد
roots
هاي
of the
التقنية
plants
في زيادة كفاءة
through a lot
استخدام
of
المياه
tools, and
من
this, of
خلال
course,
تقليل
raises
عملية
the
التبخر
efficiency of
والجريان
water
الصحي.
usage. And this is, of
ثاني
course,
تقنية
through
عنا هي تقنية الزراعة
subsurface
الدقيقة
irrigation.
باستخدام
The
أجهزة
second is
الاستشعار
precision
الذكية.
agriculture
تعتمد هاي
with
التقنية على
smart
استخدام أجهزة
sensors. These
إنترنت
techniques,
الأشياء
of
ال
course,
IoT
use
وأجهزة
the
استشعار
IoT,
الرطوبة التربة وبيانات الأقمار الصناعية
and then we also have
التحكم في استهلاك المياه
satellite
بدقة. هاي
technologies,
بتضمن حصول
all
النباتات على
to
الكمية
observe
المناسبة من
water
المياه
usage
بناء على
accurately and
البيانات اللي
precisely so
بيتم
that we can
أخذها في
use
الوقت الفعلي.
the adequate amount of water.
ثالث
Of course,
تقنية
this
عنا
is
هي تقنية
based on
الأكوابونكس
information
أو
taken on the spot.
الهيدروبونكس.
The third
الأكوابونكس هو
technique is
نظام
the
بيجمع بين
aquaponics or the
تربية الأسماك
hydroponics.
والزراعة المائية
This
حيث أن المياه الناتجة من
is
أحواض الأسماك
used for
الغنية
fish farming
بالمواد المغذية
and for
تستخدم
agriculture
لري
as well,
هذه
because
النباتات.
we use the water to
عندنا
for
برضو
the
تقنية
benefit of the
الري
fish
تحت
and the
السطحي.
plants.
نظام الري
We
تحت
also
السطحي
have the
يقوم بوضع
subsurface
أنابيب تحت
irrigation,
سطح الأرض لتوصيل
and
مياه
in
مباشرة
this
إلى
technique
جذور
we
النباتات
use
مما
some
يقلل
tubes
فقد المياه في عملية
underneath,
التبخر.
and this, of course,
وبرضه في
reduces the
عنا
loss
تقنية
of
تخزين
water while
واسترجاع المياه في
evaporation.
طبقات المياه
We then
الجوفية.
also have
بتضمن
the
اللي هو يسمى
storage
بالنظام ال
of
ASR.
water and
بتضمن
recovery,
نظام ال ASR
known as
جمع
the
المياه السطحية
ASR,
الزائدة
where we
معالجتها
collect the
وتخزينها في طبقات
extra
المياه الجوفية
water and
لاستخدامها
then we
لاحقا.
store it in
وبتعتبر
order
هاي
to
الطريقة
use
طبعا فعالة
later
لتخزين
on. Of
المياه
course,
خلال
this is
مواسم
a very
الأمطار
effective
لاستخدامها
method
في فترات الجفاف.
because we can use it to store water from the
هلا
rains and
بننتقل
then use them
للتقنيات ذات
later
التكاليف
when there is
المنخفضة.
a drought.
في عنا أول
Now,
تقنية اللي هي
for the
حصاد مياه
low-cost techniques, we
الأمطار مش
have
رح أحكي عنها
the
كثير لأنه
rainwater
في عنا مشروع
harvesting. I will not
متكامل
speak
على هذا
more
الموضوع
about it
رح أمشي
because
فيه هلا
we do have a
بالسلايدات
comprehensive
الجاية.
product that
بس
I will
بتضمن
move
بشكل
on
سريع
to
تجميع مياه
on
الأمطار
this topic
سواء
later
على
on.
أسطح
But we,
المنازل
of
أو
course,
بتقنيات حديثة اللي هي بتقنيات
harvest the
بسيطة اللي هي
rainwater
nature based
on the
solution
rooftops of
لاستخدامها في فترات
houses,
الجفاف.
and then we can use them
وبرضه في
when there
عنا من
is
التقنيات
droughts.
البسيطة اللي هي تغطية
Another
التربة.
technique that we
بتتضمن تغطية
have from the
التربة
low-cost
بالمواد
techniques
العضوية أو
is
الصناعية
the
لتقليل التبخر
mulching, which
وتقليل
is
نمو
covering
الحشائش
the
وتحسين صحة
soil with
التربة.
organic products so that
وبرضه
it
في
can
عنا
make
الزراعة
the
على الخطوط
soil
الكونتورية
healthier.
والمصاطب اللي هم
We,
هدول
of course, have
يعتبروا
the
nature based
contour farming
solution حلول
and
معتمدة على
terracing, and
الطبيعة.
these are
برضه
the
هاي رح أحكي
natural-based
عنها زيادة
solutions.
بالسلايدات
I
القدام
will
كونه
talk
في
more
مشروع
about them in the
متكامل
upcoming
عليها.
slides because, again, there
بس
is
هي
a
بشكل عام
comprehensive
الزراعة على
project on them.
المدرجات
But
تشمل حقل
generally,
الأرض على خطوط
it's
كونتورية
composed
للحد من
of
جريان مياه وتآكل
agriculture
التربة.
in accordance with some contours
وبرضه
to help the
بقدر
soil and make it more
المزارع
efficient.
يتحكم بالأصناف
The farmer
النباتية
can, of
المقاومة
course, control the
للجفاف.
types of
فهي التقنية بتتضمن
crops
زراعة
that
المحاصيل
are
اللي
anti-drought,
تتحمل الجفاف أو المحاصيل اللي
and we can
تستهلك
use
كميات
or
أقل
harvest
من
crops
المياه.
that
في عنا أمثلة مثلا
um,
مثل
are
الشعير
resilient
والقمح.
against droughts. Some of these crops are wheat.
لا we have this one. وهلا رح ننتقل للخبرة على أرض الواقع وننتقل من
Now we will
الشرح
talk about
النظري
our
إلى التطبيق
experiences in
العملي وآخر
reality
التقنيات اللي
and move
تنفذت على
from
أرض
the theoretical
الواقع
part
من
to the
خلال مشاريع
practical part
متعددة بالشبكة
and
الإسلامية.
projects that we
بس في
have
البداية طبعا حابة
already
أعرف عن
implemented
الشبكة
in the
الإسلامية. هي الشبكة
OIC.
اللي
Of course,
هي
I want to to talk a little bit about our Islamic network. It's a diplomatic organization that is non-governmental, established in 1987 under the supervision of the Commistic and the OIC. There are 20 members in this network from the Islamic State. Its headquarters is in Jordan, and it is both an executive and theoretical office. And it works on conducting strategic conversations and implementing them in reality. Of course, we have Dr. Marwan Ragad, who is the CEO of our network.
هاي صورة هيك بسيطة للفريق العظيم بالشبكة والعائلة
This
الثانية
is a photo of our team and my second family. Of course, we have our field coordinators who have a great role in implementing our techniques in reality. We also have Mr. Talqati, who is right now in our workshop. He has worked in Al-Mafraq, and I will talk more about this project because it's very important. But then we also have our technical colleagues and senior managers and others.
أول مشروع بالشبكة الإسلامية اللي بدنا
The
نحكي
first
عنه
project in the Islamic network that we would like to talk about is the Smart Desert project that was implemented between 2021 and 2023. It was funded by the French Organization for Development with the partnership of 5 organizations, which is Horizon, Bloom, Green, and IOCM. It has been implemented in Irbit, Mafraq, and Zarqa regions. This project has been labeled by the European Union, and this label or accreditation means that this project can be replicated with other projects. Of course, this project in all its aspects, whether through the workshops that it has carried out or through reforming farms
أو أي نشاطات من
and
ضمن هذا
harvesting
المشروع
water,
تم الحرص إنه يكون 50% من
we
المستفيدين
have
هم
made
من
sure that
النساء.
50% of the stakeholders be
في
from
عنا
the women.
الجدول هذا بيمثل إنجازات المشروع
We have
من
this
خلال
small
الوردان وباقي
table
الشركاء.
showing
بالبداية تم إعادة
showing
صيانة
the
150
achievements.
مزرعة في
At the
مختلف
beginning,
مناطق
there
المشروع.
have been
شملت مثلا إعادة
150
صيانة
farms
البيوت
that have been
البلاستيكية،
reformed
تطوير
and
البرك
maintained,
الموجودة لاستخدامها
like the
بالزراعة،
houses that were
صيانة
made out of
أنظمة الري،
plastic were
زيادة
lined
سعر
so that
الخسائر
they
القائمة
can be
وغيرها.
used in a more efficient way.
وتم تركيب أيضا أنظمة ري في 120 مزرعة
Additionally,
بنظام
irrigation
التنقيط
systems have been
الGR.
placed in many
وبرضه في
farms using
عنا
the
قام
GR
المشروع
technique.
بدعم
And
600
then
مشروع
the
منزلي،
project has
بما
also
في ذلك
supported
توفير المواد
600 home-based
الأولية
businesses
والمساعدة على التسويق
by
وتوفير
providing
المعدات
the
اللازمة لصناعة
primary
الأغذية
materials and
كالمخللات
the necessary
والمنتجات
tools
المحلية.
for the
ومعظمهم
production.
كان مستفيدين من هاي
Of course,
الفئة من السيدات.
most
هون
stakeholders
خلف
were
برضو عنا
from women.
6000 فرصة عمل ما بين
We
فرص
also
عمل
have
دائمة
6,000
للمزارعين على
new
سبيل
job
المثال
opportunities,
الأيدي
whether they are
العاملة
permanent for the
والمستشارين
farmers,
والشركات
like
المنفذة.
the labor
هدول كان
force, the
شغل
chancellors,
مؤقت
and
اللي هو
others.
الكاش فورورد، فكان في عنا
Um,
6000 فرصة
This was,
عمل
of
بين
course, the temporary
عمل
work, which
دائم
was the
وعمل
cash
مؤقت.
forward, but we had 6,000 job
تم
opportunities.
تدريب
Some
أيضا
were
ما يعادل
permanent and some were
1500 متدرب
temporary.
في مختلف الفئات العمرية
About
على مواضيع متنوعة
1,500
وواسعة من ضمنها
trainees were
تقنيات
also
إدارة المياه
trained on
المبتكرة.
many projects,
وتم إنشاء أيضا ما يقارب
such as
50
water
مدرسة
management.
عقلية.
About
إحدى
50
الأمثلة
field
عليها اللي هو
schools were
مبنى
also
الرنفل
established.
للتدريب على
Some
استخدام
examples
المياه
were
المعالجة في
in
الزراعة.
Ranfal for
وبرضه في عنا
training
مثلا
on
مثال مثل محطة
processed water
الخالدية
for
للبحوث
agriculture. And
الملحية
then we also
اللي هي
have the
عبارة عن
Khalidiyya
برك للسمك
plant,
تتحمل الملوحة
which is
العالية
composed of
ونستغل
lakes
هاي
for
المياه
fish that
بالزراعات الملحية مثل زراعة
can tolerate
الشعير
the high
والذرة.
salt amounts
Next,
and
please.
other places where corn and wheat are being harvested.
وفي عنا من أحد أهم كمان نشاطات المشروع اللي عملنا
Some of
عليها
the
هي
most
تخفيض
important
قدر
activities of
مخاطر
the
الفيضانات
project is
من
also the
خلال تمت هاي
disaster
النقطة
risk
من
reduction
خلال
for
3 أمور
floods.
قمنا فيها.
This
أول إشي
has
كان
been
في
done
تدريب
through
المزارعين على مواجهة
3
آثار الفيضانات، حيث
aspects.
تم
The
تدريب
first
100
was to
مزارع
train
معظمهم
farmers
من
on how to
القريبين من
deal with
مجاري الأودية.
floods.
وبرضه
And of
في
course,
عنا
those who were
تم
trained
تركيب 5
lived
محطات
close to
مناخية ذكية
places
تساهم
prone
في
to
توفير
floods.
بيانات
And
دقيقة
then
اللي هي
there were
كل
also
تقريبا كل 10
fields
دقائق ككمية سقوط
that
الأمطار
have
ودرجات الحرارة الرطوبة
machines that
سرعة
can predict
الرياح وأيضا
whether
بيانات
or when
متعلقة بالتربة
droughts will
وغيرها
happen,
طبعا،
and or
حيث تساعد
in
هذه
addition to many other
البيانات
information
على
on the
اتخاذ
soil.
القرارات المناسبة
These
في
data,
الوقت
of course,
المناسب.
help us take
وطبعا قامت
the
الشبكة بتركيب كمان
appropriate
8 محطات
decisions in
مناخية خلال
timely
ضمن مشروع
manners.
آخر، فبالمحصلة قامت الشبكة بتركيب 13 محطة
We
مناخية
also have
موزعة في
climate
المنطقة
channels,
الأردنية والهاشمية.
where 13 climate
وأيضا
channels have been
وأيضا تم
established all
شراء
over
بيانات
the
مناخية من
Hashemite
عام
kingdom of
1980
Jordan.
إلى عام 2024. هلا هاي الصورة بتوضح أيضا قمنا بإنشاء حاضنة الابتكار في المركز الوطني
1980
للبحوث
to
الزراعية. فهون احنا بنهتم
2024, we
بتوفير
have
أيضا
been
أماكن
establishing agricultural
لقيام
business
التدريبات.
incubators.
فهون تم تدريب عدد من المتدربين. من ضمن هاي التدريبات كانت تدريبات
And
على
here, a number
التقنيات
of trainees
المبتكرة.
were
وبرضه بتقوم
trained
هاي
on
حاضنة الابتكار
the
بدعم المشاريع
innovated
الريادية الصغيرة لفئات
techniques.
الشباب.
This
مثلا
incubator
تم
also
دعم فئات
promotes
الشباب
projects
بمبلغ
of the
3000
youth,
دينار لكل
where
شخص ضمن هذه
3,000
الحاضنة من إحدى نشاطاتنا.
Jordanian dinars have been provided to youth working in those projects.
المشروع الثاني القائم في الشبكة هو مشروع حصاد مياه الأمطار.
The second project in the
تحت مسمى
network
المشروع الحوار الوطني
is
لقطاع
the
الحصاد المائي في الأردن،
implementation
اللي بدأ تنفيذه بعام 2023 لنهاية عام 2025. ممول من سفارة مملكة هولندا في الأردن، وبتنفيذ مع الشركاء اللي هم أكاسيا ووترز والآي اتش إي ديلت، وبرضه بالشراكة الوثيقة طبعا مع
which is
وزارتي
done
المياه والري بالأردن
through
ووزارة
Jordan,
الزراعة.
Cassia
وتم
Waters,
تنفيذه
and
في مناطق
IHE
شمال وادي
Delft,
الأردن
and the partnership
وبالمفرق والأزرق. ومن
with
الجدير بالذكر إنه برضه هذا المشروع كانت نسبة الإناث في كافة أنشطته لا تقل عن 50%. Next please. هلا يختصر المشروع باسم 3R's اللي بتعود ل Retention, Recharge, Reuse. شو يعني Retention؟ Retention يعني الاحتفاظ بالمياه من أجل تخفيف خطر الفيضانات من خلال إنشاء الحلول المعتمدة على الطبيعة زي ما هو موضح بالصورة اللي على الشمال
وذلك
أسفل الشاشة. فهي تمثل ما يسمى بالترسز
as
أي
we can
أي
see on the
المصاطب
left
اللي
side,
بتقوم بتخفيف سرعة
we have the
جريان
terraces
المياه
that
وعليه تقليل
decrease
شعرية
the speed
التربة،
of water,
وبالتالي أيضا تخفيف
and of course
الرواسب في
this makes
السدود
the
الخام
soil more
بنهاية
efficient.
الكاتمنت
And
اريا. وبرضه في عنا الصورة اللي على الشمال بالأعلى اللي هي بتوضح الهالف مون
then we have the
انترفنشنز
top left picture,
اللي هي بتقوم
which
بتجميع المياه
shows
حول
the natural-based
الأشجار
solutions
الصغيرة، فبننشئها على كل
where water is
شجرة،
collected
فبتقوم
around the
بتجميع
smaller trees.
المياه وتقليل سرعة جريان
So we
التربة،
establish them around the
وعليه
trees where
التقليل من
water
شعرية
can be
التربة.
harvested, and then the
وريتشارج عنا
soil
اللي هي شحن
will
المياه
be less
الجوفية من خلال
exposed.
هذه الحلول البسيطة زي
Then
ما
we have
حكينا،
the recharge
وتنظيف
of
بعض السدود
groundwater
وإنشاء
through
حفائر
simple
متعددة.
solutions, as we
ريوز
have
إعادة
mentioned,
الاستخدام، حيث بيتم
also
استخدام
through
المياه المحصودة إما في ري المحاصيل
the
الزراعية
holes, the
بتقنيات
different
طبعا
holes.
حديثة لتقليل استهلاك
We
المياه
also
أو
have
تربية المواشي.
different water
بتمثل الصورة
sources
هاي لا
for the
بليز.
livestock and others.
أيوة ثانك يو. بتمثل الصورة أحد أهم المشاريع اللي قامت فيها
This
الشبكة اللي هو
picture
مشروع سما السرحان
represents one of the
وي في
most
نكسس بروجكت
important projects, which
بمنطقة سما
is
السرحان في
uh,
محافظة
We في Nexus
المفرق.
projects
وما
in
يميز هذا
المفرق region.
المشروع هو دعم الشراكة بين
What
ممولين
makes this project
محترفين
distinguished
لأجل
is
تنفيذه هم سفارة
the
مملكة
partnership between
هولندا
two
والوكالة
volunteers, which
الفرنسية
is
للتنمية.
the
سمي
Embassy
المشروع
of the
الويفي لأنه
Netherlands
بيجمع أربع
and the
عناصر
French
لهذا النهج
Organization
اللي هم
for the
المياه
Development.
والطاقة والغذاء
It's
والنظام البيئي.
named
كيف
that way
بنعمل هذا
because
المشروع؟
it has
بالبداية
four
لتوفير
pillars.
المياه لهذه
The
البيوت
way this project
البلاستيكية
works is by providing
تم
water
تنظيف
for
سقف
the
بجوز هون
plastic
مش واضح
homes.
بالصورة بس هو
And there is a
بخدمة
dam
الحصاد
here that is not
المائي.
really
تم
clear
تنظيف
in
سد
the
بما
picture,
يعادل
but
100,000
it's
متر مكعب
at the very
بتصبح
back,
سعته التخزينية
about
500,000 متر مكعب. طبعا من
100,000
الجدير بالذكر إنه هذا السد كان غير
square
مستغل، كان
meters have
متعلق
been
من 80 ل
reformed.
90% منه
It's worth
مترخص
mentioning that
بدون
this
أن يتم
dam
استغلاله. فتم
would
تنظيفه
suffer from
وزيادة سعته
80 to
لاستغلال المياه
90%
اللي
of
فيه. وتم
vaporization,
أيضا
and it was
إنشاء
never
حفيرة حصاد
exploited well.
مائي بسعة تقريبا
There is
10,000
also
متر مكعب لتزويد هذه
a
البيوت
harvesting
المعتمدة
spot
على
in
الزراعة
order to
المائية
provide the
بالمياه.
houses that
وطبعا
rely
تم
on
إنشاء
agriculture
هون في
with
عنا
water.
الطاقة الشمسية لتزويد
There is
الطاقة
also
للمشروع كامل ضخ
solar
المياه وتوزيع
energy
المياه داخل البيوت
here
البلاستيكية.
that is
وأيضا
provided
لتحقيق
to those
نهج
houses made of plastic,
الترابط. هنا حققنا
also
المياه
to
والطاقة بظل
achieve the
الغذاء.
approach
الغذاء
of
تم طبعا من تطبيق الهيدروبونيك
cooperation and
فحيث هو بضمن لنا
using the hydroponic
بضمن لنا
technique
زراعة أكثر
that
بوقت
guarantees
أقل، وبرضه بنتحكم
more
إحنا
agriculture
بجودة
and harvesting
المحاصيل
in
اللي
less time,
بتخرج من عنا. ومش بس هيك، هو
guaranteeing
الأردن بيعاني أو
good
المزارعين بيعانوا
quality crops.
بشكل خاص
Not just
من
Jordan
مشكلة
suffered
تسويق المحاصيل. تم
from
ربطهم من
marketing
خلالنا
for
بشركة
the
تسويق
crops.
لبيع هذه المحاصيل. فهون
But through
حققنا
us,
كافة
there has been a company for
العناصر
marketing their
لهذا
crops,
الناس،
and
والنظام البيئي أيضا
that way we
محقق
have
لأنه تتحقق
established their goals,
روابط
and of
المياه
course,
والطاقة
with
والغذاء.
maintaining the ecosystem by maintaining water, food, and energy.
مهندس ناتاليا عن المقاطعة، معك دقيقتين لإنهاء العرض.
تمام.
Excuse me, Ms. Engineer, our time's up. You have only 1 minute or two.
أجزاء المشاريع تم إنشاء
Sure.
محطة أبحاث
These
الأراضي
are some of the
الكرة
parts of the
للجامعة الأردنية في
project. We
المعقل،
have the
ويعمل هذا المشروع كحلقة وصل
centers
بين البحث العلمي
affiliated with the
ومبادرات
Jordan
تنمية
University
تحت 2000
Dryland
دون. تم من
research.
خلاله
We have the
إنشاء معيار
excavation and
الناتشر بيد
storage
سوليوشن اللي
capacity,
هم الفلراني،
and we
اللي هي
follow the
عبارة عن
natural
أحواض
based
مائية
solutions,
على
the
مساحة
Valerani,
تقريبا تم
which
إنشائها على
are
مساحة 1500 دنم.
water sinks
دنم، وتم تجميع، يعني قمنا
at
بالحساب،
the
فتم
space
تجميع
of
65,000
1,500
متر مكعب
dunams.
بالسنة من خلالها، وتم
And
أيضا
through
تنظيف
them,
3
we
سدود
have
موجودة لتصبح
achieved a
3
lot.
فد
We also have
110,000 متر مكعب، وتم إنشاء في هذا الموقع أيضا
storage capacity
بالكتان
facilities.
لحصاد المائي
We
بسعة
also have 2
تقريبا
lakes for
60,000
water
متر مكعب.
harvesting with a space of 65,000 cubic meter.
هلا بتوضح هاي الخريطة التفاعلية
Now,
المواقع اللي
this
كان ممكن نفيد
interactive
فيها من
map
خلال
shows the
المشروع
locations
وشو
that
نوع
we have achieved
الانترفنشن
our
والهدف
project in,
منه
with
والتأثير
the
له
types of the
وكمية المياه وغيرها
intervention,
من
the goal
العناصر.
behind it,
بس
and
بالمحصلة
all the
حابة أحكي
objectives.
الإمباكت
But in
لهذا
brief,
المشروع.
I want to
تم
talk
حصاد
about the impact of this
1,700,000
project.
متر مكعب
About
من المياه. تم
1,7
خلق
million cubic
54
meter
وظيفة عمل
volume
دائمة.
of water
تم
have been
خلق
harvested.
233 وظيفة عمل
54 permanent
مؤقتة.
jobs have
دعم
been
176
provided.
مزارع من خلال
233 temporary
الانترفنشنز
jobs have
طبعا
been
اللي
provided.
عملناها، ومشاركة
176
500 طالب في
farmers
السنة
have
من
been
خلال موقع
supported,
البحث اللي
and
حكينا عنه في
500
المقر،
students have
وبرضه
been
تم
involved a
زراعة
year through the
60,000
website that we
شجرة
have talked about. And then
وحماية
also
57,000
60,000
رأس
trees
حلال
have been
والحد من انبعاث ثاني
planted.
أكسيد الكربون
And
بمقدار
we've also
243
saved
ألف طن
57,000 sheep
وحماية 6,500
and
نسمة من
saved
آثار الفيضان.
243,000 tons of carbon dioxide and protected 6,500 inhabitants from
بالنهاية بتمنى
floods.
ما أكون طولت عليكم وقدمت
At the
لكم
end,
فكرة
I hope
شاملة
I
عن
did not take
التقنيات
long
من
and
الناحية
presented
النظرية
you
والأكثر
a
من
comprehensive
الناحية
idea of our
العملية.
technique,
وهذا موقع
theoretically
الشركة إذا
and
بتحبوا
practically.
تشوفوا عن مشاريع
This
الناتشر
is the
بشكل
website of our network if you
شكرا.
would like to see our projects more extensively. Thank you so much, Engineer Natalie, for sharing the projects that the network works on.
So you can ask through the chat or directly. So before and waiting, I have a question for Dr. Ibrahim, as he presented the climate smart agriculture, and I would like to know what are the significant challenges in Somalia for women farmers, and if you have any success stories that you can share with us.
Dr. Ibrahim, can you unmute yourself?
Dr. Ibrahim?
Yes, in Somalia, after 2010.
Shortly, please.
Can you hear me? Yeah, hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Please, the floor is yours.
After the famine in 2011, the country have woken up and there was introduction of a climate smart agricultural practices that has been introduced. Example, I was working a project which was funded by USAID, called it Growth Enterprise Employment and Livelihood Project for 6 years. We provided women groups as a cooperative, and we provided greenhouses. At the same time, beside their farms, they had open field that has been using in the past. They used to use surface irrigation water, but due to the climate change, they have to use now more efficient ways. So we introduced pipe irrigation, especially on drip irrigation, and they use as a group. So once they have this group irrigate using that one, they move to the next one, they move to the next one. And there is also a storage, water tank storage that keeps the water. So there was efficient use, and that they gain more economic benefits when they harvested their tomatoes, green pepper or sweet pepper and other vegetables, even during the off season. So they benefited a lot than before. Then there is always a market for their product. On the other hand, we introduce good agricultural practices where we have given together with those greenhouse, we give the seeds, high quality seeds, certified seeds, and then we link to the market, to the hotels, we link it to the restaurants. So there was because of the high quality without no chemicals, we introduced how to use organic organic fertilizers like compost, green manure, all this. This has benefited, and they generated more employment for the youth. So we also introduced students who are taking agriculture in the school earlier. So each group of youth students are given also greenhouses and other facilities to accomplish. So those we also train them on good agricultural practices, on crop management.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So let's move to Dr. Hanan, please.
شكرا لكم جميعا، صراحة مشاركات رائعة وفتحت عيوننا على على إسهامات وعلى
Thank you all
برامج
for your presentations that gave us vision on many initiatives internationally that we need to know, to deeply know.
دكتور إبراهيم علي
There was a question. Dr. Ibrahim Ali asked a question in specific to Algeria. However, I think it should be directed to all the states, especially the member states of the OIC. And it was about the resources that the rural women have aside training. And Ms. Najm said that there are too many challenges that the farmers and entrepreneurs face in the agricultural sector. I expect that if you allow me, at the end of the day, we are women development organization. Whenever women are found, we are found as well. And we consider ourselves partners to you in all the presentations and the interventions. So, how can the small farmers face the challenges, and what are the resources that they will need in addition to the tree? Let me say that all the CSOs and the NGOs and the development organizations as well, even the women unions, and all of these parties are responsible to apply such policies to support the entrepreneurs and the farmers to overcome all the agricultural challenges in many ways. So Mr. Ibrahim was asking about the other resources. First, they should have equal access to resources such as lands, insurance, and education. Second, the gender equality. We have to enhance the policies that apply the gender equality and implement and eliminate any otherwise. Also, everyone says other than training. However, training is the main pillar for anything. If providing training and we should also provide a network for the women. And I think that the speakers from the AOAD have mentioned the same thing, and we in the organization we are studying now to establish a platform which is related to all the women in the Arab world. And now we are currently having in our timeline projects and programs that are dedicated for the programs and TOTs for women and girls that start with supporting them in their projects, rising from starting from the idea of the project, including the technical support for marketing and how to have access to the markets and
غير هذه الشبكات أيضا هناك الشمول
reaching the
المالي للمؤسسات
sale of
المضافة وهو مهم
such
كثيرا
products.
فتسهيل
In
الوصول إلى
addition to
التمويل
these
من
networks, we
خلال
have
القروض
the
الصغيرة
financial
والبدائل
inclusion that,
يعني
that all the women
التضامنية
should
أو
have access
غير
to financial
التقليدية.
inclusion, including the
هذه كلها
loans and the
مهمة لأنها
facilitated
لا تكون
ones
متاحة
and the
للنساء
untraditional methods
وتحتاج
as well,
أيضا المرأة
because
أو
they are
النساء
all
لإحضار رائدة
important.
الأعمال
However, they are
للاقترامات
not
المالية
available to the
لمشاريعها
women,
الصغيرة
and the
والمتوسطة. لابد أيضا
women
من تعزيز
farmers need
مشاركة
such
المرأة في
finance
صنع
in
القرار
their projects.
وهذا مهم
Also,
فغالبا ما
also the
تستطيع
women
أصوات
participation
النساء في
in
عمليات
decision
صنع
making
القرار في
should be
التعاونيات
boosted,
الزراعية وجمعيات
as most of the
المنتجين
time
وسلاسل
the
التوريد.
voices of the women are not
يعني
taken into
حبيت بس أشارك
consideration when it
معكم
comes
بجزء
to the
هام
export
في
process
ضمن
and the supply
المواضيع
chain.
اللي
I just
تطرح
wanted to
الآن واللي
participate with
صراحة
you
أشوف إن فيها
in
فائدة كبيرة وورش عمل إن شاء الله
um,
مفيدة. شكرا.
very important regarding the topics that are raised right now, that we will have another workshops dedicated to such topics. Thank you, Ms. Hanan, for this valuable intervention. Also, we have many agreements and we are ready to work with you with the food security and the agricultural and the agriculture in sector. Now, let's give the floor to Aman. Talk about the topic of
رسائل
today.
الموارد
So
والشروط
now I'm giving the floor to
أنا
Mr.
أشكر
Fadi
الجميع على
Jaber.
التحدث.
Good
عندي
evening,
سؤال
all of you. I'd
نتالي
like to
هل
thank all
سويتوا
the
إشي
participants. I'd like to ask
عن حصاد
Miss
المياه
Natalie,
للمزروعات
did you
الاستراتيجية مثل القمح
do anything
مع الشكر
regarding the
الجزيل.
water harvesting um, to the
هلا هي كانت
to
المزروعات مثل القمح
it
بنستهدفها لأنها بتستهلك كميات
all
قليلة من
the
الأمطار. تم
agriculture
بالبداية دراسة
agriculture products use low amounts
الأنواع
of
المزاريع اللي
rains.
بدنا نقوم
In the
فيها مع
beginning, we
الجامعة
studied
الأردنية.
the
فتم مثلا
types of
بالمؤخر
farms
اختيار
that we
أنواع محددة من
use in
النباتات
the
لزراعة
University
هذه
of Jordan,
البلدان مثلا.
and we specified certain types of plants
فهي
to
بدراسات
be
معينة
implanted.
مع الجامعات الأردنية أو الجامعات
So it's
التعليمية
all based
بالأردن.
on
يعني
studies in
سويتوا
cooperation with
تجربة ولا لسه ما سويتوا
نعم
universities
طبعا
of
تم
Jordan.
تنفيذها
So
طبعا.
did you make your own
طيب
experiments?
بالإمكان
Yes, of
رسالة لو
course.
سمحتي إذا أمكن في
Can you
أكيد.
please send it
شكرا
to me?
جزيلا.
أهلا أهلا.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
أستاذ فادي جابر. عندي أنا أيضا سؤال آخر
Thank you,
للسيدة
Mr.
المحدثة
Fadi Jaber. I have another question to the engineer. I know that we have a very limited time. You talked about a smart desert. I just would like to know that there are many deserts in Africa. If there is an intention to work in the deserts
هلا احنا
or the
الشبكة الإسلامية
coastal
للتنمية
states in
وإدارة
Africa,
المياه بتطلع مش على منظور فقط تنفيذ مشاريع
the
بالأردن.
network,
احنا
we
بنطلع
have many
بهدف تنفيذ
projects
مشاريع
in
بالمينا
Jordan,
ريجن
but we
والسميت
look
كونتريز.
forward
ففي
to
عنا مشاريع حتى طبعا
expand
كله
our
بيعتمد
projects in
على
MENA
التمويل.
region,
في عنا
and
مشاريع حاليا
all
قائمة
of
مشروع
these
الوي فود
projects
اكسس
depend on financing. We
بتمويل
have
من
the project
سيدا
of
من خلال
Worthy
اليو اف
Nexus
ام. طبعا من
that
خلال
is
هذا المشروع
financed by SIDA,
بدنا ننفذ
and throughout this
بايلوت
project,
بروجكت
we would
على أرض
like to
الواقع بالأردن
implement
ومصر.
pilot
بيعتمد
projects
زي ما حكيت على
on ground
التمويل
in Jordan
ولكن
and
بالرؤية
Egypt, and
والفيجن
we depend
تبعتنا أكيد
on
في احتمالية.
funds and finance. However, by using our vision, I think there is a probability.
أوكي شكرا جزيلا. أعتقد أعطي الكلمة الآن
Thank you so
للسادة
much.
أنا.
And
وفي
now
الأخير إن
I'll
شاء
be
الله
giving the
سنطلب من كل
floor
المتحدثين
to Miss
بجزء
Hannah, and
توصيتي
at the
ليصلوا في
end,
ديوان
I'll
البيانات
be
الأطلسية في
asking
مجال تخصصي
all the
هذا سيكون
speakers
مساعد
to
أكثر يعني لكي يشاركوا
propose
في
their
الإنشطة الأخرى.
recommendations regarding
جزيلا
this
والكلمة
topic, as this will help us so
شكرا
much.
جزيلا دكتور
Thank
عبد
you so
العزيز
much.
على إدارة
Now I'm
هذه
giving the floor to Miss
الجلسة
Hannah.
المثمرة.
Thank you so much,
وشكرا
Dr.
لجميع
Abdulaziz,
المتحدثين
for
على
moderating, for being the
العروض
moderator of
القيمة
this session,
والتوصيات
and thank you
الهامة.
so much for all the
ننتقل
speakers for
الآن
all
إلى
the
الجلسة
presentations and
الثالثة
recommendations.
التي
Now we'll be
تتناقش
moving to the
أهمية
third
وصول
session that
النساء
will
إلى
be
الأسواق والموارد
talking
المالية
about and
وكيف يمكن
addressing the
لذلك أن
importance
يساهم
of the access
دور
of
المرأة الريفية.
the to
نبدأ
markets and
مع
financial
عرض تحسين
resources.
وصول النساء إلى الأسواق.
And also we'll be talking about a
بداية أرحب
presentation
بالسيد فادي جبر الأمين العام للاتحاد
that will
العربي
be
للصناعات
given by
الإعلامية،
Mr.
والدكتورة نور عبد الوهاب
Fadi
خبير الشؤون
Jabr, the
التنوع
Secretary
الاجتماعي
General
والنمو
of the Arab
الاجتماعي من
Federation
المعهد
of the
القومي
Food
لإدارة
Security.
المياه.
And also, we'll be having a presentation by Dr. Noura Abdel Wahab, Senior Gender and Social Inclusion Expert. And final presentation by Dr. Raed Hader. Now I'm giving the floor to Dr. Miss Maham to moderate the session. I'd like to thank you all, and I'd like to tell you that we'll be moving to the third session, and it will be about the strategies for transforming smallholder women's activities. And now we're having the first presentation that will be given by Mr. Fadi Jabr on enhancing market access to value-added food production. Mr. Fadi is the Secretary General of the Arab Federation of Food Industries, the main partner of the AOAD, and he is the main. They are the main partner, and they work on the organization of the packaging to have many surveys and to have many food surveys. He has many certifications and awards, international ones. He's also the editor-in-chief of the Our Food, Our Future magazine. Anna, the presentation is not available to us. Can you reshare it? Hello, Dr. Fadi, our friend and our partner in the organization.
هل شايفين
لسه لا
العرض؟
Can you
لسه
see the
انا شيرت
presentation?
من
Not yet.
ما وصلش.
هتشير من عند حضرتك؟
انا سويت اوريدي شير بس
You'll share it
طب
from
معلش
your
ممكن
end.
تعمل شير تاني؟
I already shared it. Can you please
مظبوط كده
reshare
صح؟
it?
تمام.
اولا ما حدا بيصنع في العالم شغله ما بتنباع، لا منزليا ولا كبير ولا صغير.
I'd like to tell
القصه
you that no one in the whole world manufactures something that will
في
not
الوطن
be
العربي
paid. However, the moral
استهلاكنا
of
العام
the
الماضي
story
بس
is
للاستهلاك حسب
as follows.
الاستهلاك
In
فقط
the Arab
للشاي
world,
استهلكنا شاي
we consumed
مياه لصنع الشاي
in
31
the
مليار لتر
year,
مياه
our
لصنع
consumption
الشاي.
of tea, we had
اليوم في غزة نسبة
131
الفقر 100%.
billion liter for
بعد الحرب
of water.
اليوم نسبة
Now the poverty in
الفقر
Gaza reaches
في الضفة
100%.
85%.
After the war,
احنا
the
استهلاكنا اليومي او
the
السنوي
percentage of
للزيوت النباتية
poverty
هو
in
18
the
لتر في
bank
السنة،
is
وهو من
50%.
أقل الدول في
Our
العالم.
daily
وخاصة
or our
في
yearly
العالم
consumption
من
of the
استهلاكهم
oils
للدهون.
is
فإحنا من
18 liters,
أقلها
and it
18
is
لتر في
considered
السنة.
a very low percentage.
لكن كيف بيجينا هالأمراض الله أعلم، مع أنه استهلاكنا جدا قليل.
So how we
الصناعات
get all
الغذائية هي
these
فنون التعامل
diseases
مع
because
مع المواد
despite the fact that
الأولية
we are
نباتية
consuming
وحيوانية.
very low
أنا
amounts.
عشان نختصر الوقت
It's the art of the food
نوعين
industries
من
is the art of
الصناعات
dealing with
الغذائية،
primary and
صناعات
secondary plant and
غذائية
animal
نباتية
materials.
المصدر
There are two
وحيوانية
types.
المصدر.
We're
وفي
having
الحلويات كلها هي
either
بتاخذ من
the food
الجانبين
industries
لأنه
or
كلها
the
معتمدة
plant
على
industries,
طهي
and we're having
القمح
all these sweets
والسمن
combined
النباتي اللي
between
هي من
the two
الحلوان
sides because
والحليب
they
وإلى
are
آخره.
mainly based on
عندنا 150
wheat,
ألف موقع في الوطن
and the
العربي
other
صغير وكبير
which is based
وحرفي.
on the dairies.
السكان
And
الريف
we're
حسب
having
إحصائيات 163 مليون. القيمة المضافة بمعدلها
and
ب
according to these
25%،
statistics, we have
لكنه في تصل ل
29
200%.
million, and we have
في الصناعات الصغيرة
and it
والمتوسطة
reaches
بحدود مليون بشر في الوطن
200%.
العربي.
Those who work in the micro and middle scale industries reach 2 million. Now you can see the plant-based food industries and the animal-based industries and the multi-source food industries such as the chocolate and the sweets. When it comes to the food security,
أول ما ينزل البني آدم
so
من
the first
في حياته رأسا بيشرب
thing
حليب.
when the human is born, he will drink milk. So food is a biological need that without food there is no civilizations, such as in Yemen. If there's no food, there is no agriculture. Also, the food security is the concept of the food security, according to the literature of the Arab Union of Food Industries, is the opportunity to obtain sufficient food with dignity and sustainable for all tastes. in order
وتطوير
to achieve
هالقطاعين
food security,
الزراعي
we have
والصناعي.
to have
اليوم رح
educated
نحكي على
persons,
القيمة
and
المضافة
now we'll be talking about the added
للأغذية،
value
كيف ممكن يصير
of
تعزيز
food
القيمة
and how
المضافة
we can
ماديا
add value to
تحتويا
food
بست أشياء أو سبع.
throughout
هي تحويل
6 or
مواد
7
خام
ways:
مادة خام موحدة
converting raw
للحليب
materials into finished
المنتجات زي الحليب
products
بيطلع
such
بحليب
as milk.
300 400 نوع من أنواع الأجبان
So we have
والألبان
300 or
والزبد
400
والسمن
types of
والتفاصيل اللطيفة هذه.
cheese, milk,
يعني اليوم الأغذية الجاهزة
butter, and
ليش
yogurt.
الناس كلهم عم يسووا
So
تطبخ في
now
البيت ولا بيسوي أي حاجة الناس بدها جاهزة،
the
فلذلك هي
fast food
أكثر قيمة مضافة
instead
لها 40 ل
the
50%
fast food is
حسب
the
المادة
most
المستهدفة.
used
وكمان
type of
بتنفع
foods
بيتها ومجتمعها
according to
وأسرتها.
the
يعني صار
material
لنا
that
4
is
أيام أنا
produced.
ومع دكتورة نسرين استمعنا لنخبة
We
حقيقة
have
من
been
الأردن
for 4 days.
وسوريا
We have
أردن ولبنان
listened to
وفلسطين
many speakers
ومصر
from
والعراق.
Jordan, Lebanon, Egypt,
والله شيء
Palestine,
يرفع الرأس،
Palestine.
لكنه الكل نفس التحديات
We
اللي
were
ذكروها
very
الإخوان
proud,
في السابق.
but all of us have the same challenges
أكثر
that are
صناعة، كل
previously
الصناعات
mentioned.
الموجودة اليوم الغذائية هي
The
أصلها تراث، كنا نسويها في البيت جداتنا قبل مئات
most
السنين
important
وطوروها إلى أن وصلت
industry
لهذه المرحلة.
that are
صارت
present right
مصانع
now
كبيرة، وأول صناعة
started many
تحويلية في
years ago,
العالم
and they
هي
were
صناعة
developed
الألبان.
until being
تخيلوا صناعة
until reaching
الألبان هي
its current
قبل
state. And the first
صناعة
one
رغيف
is
الخبز.
the dairy industries, and it
هلا
started before even the
بدنا
industry
طاقة،
of
بدنا مادة أولية،
bread.
وبدنا
Now
مهارات في
we need
التصنيع، وبدنا خزن
energy,
والتسويق. اليوم
we
الكل كان
need
يحكي على التسويق،
raw materials,
لكنه المهارات
we
بدنا
need
ناس
manufacturing
متدربين
skills,
يعملوا
we
فيها.
need
طبعا القضاء على
storage.
الجوع
Everyone talk about
خزين
storage as well. We
استراتيجي
need
أسري
marketing.
100%.
We need skilled
فكنا
and trained labor
لكورونا
force as
كنا
well.
انحجرنا في
Um,
البيت،
the
فلذلك
benefits of
كان
heritage food industry is
المونة
that we can
بين
be able
قوسين
to
المونة اللي
eliminate hunger
كنا
and poverty.
نخزنها هي اللي
As in
ساعدتنا على
coronavirus,
هذه عدة الأيام
the food
والأشهر
the
قدرنا
food
نستحملها.
that we stored helped us to
أول
spend
ما
the
طلع
days
التليفون
and the
عشان نحكي
months
فيه الصبح، بعدين
by using
أصبح
them.
التليفون نأكل فيه
When the
من
phone
كاميرا
is
وصار
initially
كاميرا كيف ندفع
is
وندخل فيه
initially
وتصرفنا. اليوم
manufactured,
نأكل فيه
now we started
بسبب
to
واحد
eat
كل
even
أكلة
through our
بدنا
phone, through the
إياها
camera,
بنسوي تاك
and
تبعها بتعطينا
ordering
نيوتريشن
and
فاكت، بتعطينا كل
even
التفاصيل اللطيفة.
recipes
اليوم في العالم لا يوجد
and getting all
شيء
the
اسمه
details of the
غذاء
recipe.
صنعته وبعته.
Nowadays
اليوم
in the
معتمد
world,
على
we have
4
nothing
أغذية
called
طبية
the food
اللي
that we
هي
will
قيمتها
manufacture
الآن في
will
العالم 22
will
مليار.
sell it
من
directly.
2023
However,
انباعت ب 22 مليار.
in
وأغذية وظيفية
2023,
281
we
مليار.
have
كل
sold
أغذية
by
عضوية
200
بحدود 220 مليار.
2200
وزاد الأغذية المبتكرة الانوفيشن
billion,
اليوم اللي هو كيف ممكن نصنع
and
البروتين
the innovated
بالمختبر
food,
أو
the rich,
أشياء أخرى
and how
زي
to
اليوم
that is related how to make protein in
زيت
the lab,
الطماطم صار
um,
يستعمل محل
such
الأسبرين
as
للأطفال
the
حتى
tomato oil
يزيد
that
من
is
نوع
used instead
ويزيد من
of
عضلة.
the
اليوم عندنا المشكلة
in
إنه
order
الصناعة
to
الجيل
increase
الرابع من الصناعة دخل في الصناعة الغذائية.
food for
أحد
children.
قلنا إنه
Now we're
ما
having
بصير
the
إنه إحنا
4G food.
نذبح الحيوان لأنه
It
هذا
is
الرفق بالحيوان
it started to
والبصمة
be mixed with
الكربونية
the
اللي تحدث
food.
فيها الأخوان
Um,
قبلي، وكيف نقلل من
we
الهدر.
have the
وقلت لا
carbon
إحنا بدنا
footprint,
ندخل هالصناعة
and
في
how can we start
دخل
reducing the
هالصناعة في
consumption?
إنتاج الأغذية. فعلا في كثير من واستعمل الذكاء الاصطناعي زي
We
شيف
will
جبنة.
start to
اليوم في عندنا
merge
جبنة
or
مصنعة
combine
بالذكاء الاصطناعي
the
وكمان انرجي الطاقة،
to
مشروب
combine the
طاقة
4G with the
وعصاير.
food. We have
اليوم كانت موجودة، يعني صار لها سنة موجودة في
we
الأسواق
have energy
حقيقة،
drinks, and we
لكنه
have
ما فيها
many
الطعم.
types
فلذلك هدف
of
الاتحاد
juice
العربي
that
للصناعة
have been
الغذائية
for years in
صار السنة
the
الماضية
markets. So that's
أنشأنا
why
اللجنة
we
العربية
in the Arab Union
للتقييم الحسي للأغذية حتى تكون
we
النكهة
established
العربية
the
التراثية
Arab
الحقيقية
committee
يظلها طعم
in order
الجبنة، يظلها
to
طعم اللحمة
add
والمنتجات الأخرى.
its
لكنه
print
الجيل
to all
الصناعة
the
الرابعة
products
هي
of food.
لتقليل من
However, the
المهدر وتقليل من تكاليف
fourth
الطاقة
generation of food industries is used
وزيادة
to
الأرباح.
decrease the
بسبب
waste,
تغير المناخ
to decrease
حقيقة
the waste and to increase the
تغيرت
benefit.
المعايير الجودة.
Because of the
نسبة
climate
الحرارة
change,
زادت،
all the food
النقل
quality
صار
standards
لازم كل
changed as well. The climate changed.
وبسبب الرطوبة
There's
العالية
always air
فاضطرينا
condition,
أنه نبدي
and because
نغير
of the
التهوية
high
والتغليف
levels of humidity,
لكثير من
we
المواد
had to
الغذائية سواء
change
الكرتونية ولا الحديد ولا البلاستيك.
the packaging and the
الرطوبة
canning
العالية
methods
مشكلة
for
لأنه تفسد
food,
المادة
either
الغذاء
the
يفسد
or the
إذا المحتوى
cartoon.
المائي فيه زاد
The high levels of
فبتفسد.
humidity.
فلذلك صاروا يستعملوا بعض الشركات بعض
destroys
الإضافات علشان تقتل البكتيريا من ضمنها
the food.
الأنتيبيوتيك.
Would become starts to
أنا هاي في
have
صور
many
هيك
alternatives
لطيفة
to
إنه
overcome this
بدنا نحكي على
challenge.
القيمة المضافة. إيش يعني قيمة مضافة؟
There are
يعني
many pictures here.
قيمة مضافة يعني
If you wanted
ابتكار،
to
وهذا هو
talk
اللي
about
بده
the
السوق.
added
إحنا
value of the
اتفقنا
food, added value is the innovation.
إنه
We have
ما
agreed
ننتج حاجة ما تنزل تنباع بالسوق.
that we
فلذلك
don't
ابتكروا بيض مسلوق،
manufacture
وهذا على
anything
الشمال
unless
بيض
it's gonna
مخلل،
be
بيض بالخل.
sold.
اكتشفت إنه سعرها
You
$60.
can see
هذا
here. You can see here.
سعرها $60. هل أربع بيضات، هل 6 بيضات وحاطينها
With
خل
it's
وزنها
paid
كيلو.
with
يعني فطبقة البيض اللي حقها
$60
بتتراوح من
and
3 ل
they are
$4
stored in
أصبح حقها
this jar.
$30 بالإضافة
The
شوي.
egg
والبيض
with
المسلوق
which is paid
حاطين كل
for
15
$3 to
بيضة،
$4
هذه ال
is
15
for
بيضة حالها
$60, and the
$10،
15
يعني
eggs
ضعف،
which
صار
is equal
ضعفين.
to
وهي ما سوت
it
شيء،
is equal
سلقتها
to
وحطتها،
$1,000.
وأيضا
They
لا
are
تكسر
just
البيض
being
عندها،
boiled and
والشلفر
then
تبعه لمدة سنة
put
بنفس الطعم
them
بنفس
with this
الجودة والريحة.
solid, with this liquid in this
أعطيكم مثل
jar,
برضه هون استعملوا زيت الزيتون، حطوا له
and they will
شوية
have the
بنزين،
same taste at
حطوا له
the end
شوية
of the day.
أوزون، صار حقها $84.
This
60
oil,
ملي.
some
يعني نقدر عندنا زيت زيتون
ozone
الإكسترا فيرجن تقريبا
liquid
سعره
is added to
$10،
it,
هون
and
60
it's
ملي
paid
حقها
for
$84.
$1,000.
خلقوا
And
قيمة
now the
مضافة عالية
60 grams
جدا
is for
تجاوزت ال
$84.
200%
That's why
بهذا
they
المنتج.
added,
بالإضافة
they
لأنه
created
أيضا زيت
added
الزيتون هو
value, which
جدا
reached
مهم
20,
بإضافة شوية
100% of the
مركبات جدا رخيصة
price of the
كصوب
product.
أحسن، مزيل
They use
مكياج
very cheap
وتنقية شعر وإلى
products, and they
آخره.
started to
أوراق الشجر تبع
add
الزيتون
this value in
يعني
order
حقها
to
$40.
be
أنا
a
بحبي
sophisticated
شفتها ب
one.
$40 والله.
The
وهي ورق شجر تبع
the
الزيتون
tree
غسليه طحنيه حطوه بكبسول، صار حقها كلها وزنها ما يتجاوز
the
ال 20
tree
جرام
branches
أو
and the
30
tree
جرام، حقها
extracts
$32.
are just being washed
هناك
and then
أشياء كثيرة
converted
اللي
into
حكى
oils.
إنه كيف بدنا التسويق وكيف
There
بدنا
are
نبتكر وكيف التفاصيل
too many
اللطيفة.
answers for
إذا
those who asked
قعدنا
about the marketing and how we
وعملنا
can
بجهد
be
ممكن
innovative
المنتجنا
regarding this
التراثي
point. If we
كلهم
exert
يستفادوا
extra
وكلهم
effort,
يعملوا
we will be able to
بتقنية جديدة.
use our products in
يعني
order
زي
to
الابهار،
make new
اذا خلطنا 4 انواع
methodologies
ابهار
and
اصبح
new
سعره
strategies.
$10 $15. مثلا بدنا سلطه، يعني اليوم السلطه في العالم بكل
For example, if you
الريسبي
want to make
سلطه
salad,
سلطه
all
سلطه،
over the world
طعمها
today,
السلطه 100%،
we have salads in
فقط
the
تعبئه تغليف وشويه
ready-to-eat meals.
دريسنج،
They
شويه
just need some
مركزات.
packaging, some
لكن
dressing,
البهارات
some
بكل
flavors
انواع، احنا ما في عندنا اكله في
with
الوطن
all
العربي
their
او الدول
types.
الاسلاميه
We
الا
don't
نحط فيها
have
بهار،
in the
لا
Arab
يوجد.
world any meal that we do not add
قديش فكرنا
some
انه
dressings
في اكل لا
to
يوجد
and
نحط لها اي
spices.
مطيبات،
If you think
عقول هم
about it,
لازم
you
نحط
won't
لهم
find any
مطيبات.
meals that we don't add
أستاذ
spices
فادي
to.
أذكرك في الوقت باقي 3 دقائق.
تكرم
I'm
عينك.
sorry, Dr.
فلذلك
Fadi, I just want to
الابهار
remind you of your
لاحظوا
time. You only have
100%.
3 minutes to go.
انا عندي فكره
Thank
بسيطه
you.
جدا،
As for the
وممكن
spices,
كالاتحاد العربي
I have a
للتوعيه
very small
نسويها
idea, and I
فرانشايز،
think we
امتياز.
can do
ما
it
عندنا
here.
في الوطن العربي اي
The
شيء اخر
franchise.
فرانشايز،
Currently,
ما
we
عندنا.
don't have any
ولما سوينا الباستا
franchise for the
وقاطعنا
spices.
ضعنا
When we
وكرهوا.
also
فانا
started with
عندي
the
فكره
boycott
بسيطه
and
من كل
everything,
الدول من كل
things
الاعضاء،
started to
نبدا
get
نسوي
worse.
ريدي تو ايت
So I
فروزن
have an idea for all the member
من
states, which is
باكستان،
to
من
create
عمان، من وات
ready
ايفر،
to eat frozen foods
ونسويهم في
from
محل
Pakistan, Oman,
ونحط فندق
from
مشهي
wherever, and then
بطريقه
make a
تصنيع
store.
جيده بنكهات العربيه الممتازه،
Make sure that everything
ونسوقها
is
ريدي تو
produced
ايت
well, have the
بفرانشايز.
good
شغله
flavors,
ثانيه،
and then be
وهذه
ready
شغله
to
بسيطه
eat. That
جدا
would be the
ما بتكلف
franchise.
حاجه،
The other
فقط
idea is very simple. It doesn't
think
require
tank،
anything,
والباقي كله عندنا
just
ان شاء الله
a
نحن
think
والمدن
tank,
العربيه التنميه
and
الزراعيه
that's all.
ممكن نقوم
We will
فيها
do the
مع
rest with
ال
the
WHO والمنظمه الاسلاميه
AOAD and the
كلمه اخيره،
WTO and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. I just have a very last simple state, which is that whenever there would be food, we will find life. I just have two recommendations, if that's okay with you. Yes, sure, go ahead. We have to prepare a qualified and trained community to establish those franchises, and then We also have to care for the added value. We should not waste any foods. When the different types of milk started emerging, that was fine, but just a regular 125 milliliter cup of milk has the same nutrition and nutritious facts. We want to cooperate with all of you and create an information bank. I want to thank you all so much. Someone also talked about making books for our the heritage food. We do have them already, and we are on our way and in the process of updating them so that they are produced in a smart manner. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Mr. Fadi, for your show that highlighted and presentation that highlighted many important topics that will enhance the work of rural women, like the added value, the heritage food industry, also innovation, and how you can add value to your products through a series of food production, marketing, packaging, and also finding an information bank for these heritage foods. And of course, we are all ready to cooperate in these issues. Thank you so much. And now we move on to our second presentation on the opportunities of financing for women in small-scale agricultural businesses for Dr. Noura Abdel Wahab. Dr. Noura is a global expert and senior gender and social inclusion expert with an experience of over 15 years in agriculture and agricultural work, as well as the environment. She has worked in a lot of international organizations like the World Bank and the United Nations, as well as the World Food Program. And she is currently working in the International Organization for Water Management. She's a partner with the AOAD. You have 15 minutes. You can go ahead. Thank you so much. I would like to start and, of course, thank Mr. Fadi for his excellent presentation that he showed us. As you all know, in order for us to be able to make start with a project, we have to have products that are various, and we also have to have great ideas. We also need funding. And I would like to stress the point that Dr. Hanan has mentioned. We have to find new funds, sources of funds, and this is what we lack in our Arab world. I would like to start with my presentation. Please allow me to speak in English.
هل البرزنتيشن واضحة كده على السكرين؟
شايفينها.
Are you able to see the presentation?
يعني أول حاجة حابة اللي أنا حابة أتكلم عليه.
Yes, we can see very well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll start my presentation by talking about what is called the MENA paradox, which was highlighted by the World Bank as like the MENA countries are struggling to translate reductions in gender gaps with respect to education and health, which they have achieved tremendously in most of the countries into equal participation with respect to social and economic life. So the global gender gap index for the Middle East and North Africa in 2023 was 61.7. The educational attainment was 96.8, and the health and survival index 96.4, which is like great achievements compared to the economic participation and opportunity, which is like scored 42.7%. which highlight the gap between like the economic participation, attainment in economic participation and educational and health attainments. Mainly the barriers, I'm going to talk about the demand side constraints and the supply side constraints for access to finance, where the barriers in accessing finance by Arab women includes numerous factors. Mainly due to the limited assets, limited control over assets due to the inheritance. We have laws, but unfortunately the laws is not translated and implemented because of the cultural norms, high illiteracy rates, lack of financial literacy, social and cultural norms, mainly that limit women mobility in some conservative areas, child care and elderly care responsibilities as women in the Arab world shoulder most of the unpaid work, lack of access to opportunities and information because most of these accessing these information opportunities for men is like after work, through networking, through going out with friends, chatting on cafes, gender-based violence and intimate partner violence, which I'm going to talk in details in the coming slide. Limited skills training, as most of the women work on processing the traditional food. Very high interest rates that is offered by financial institutions, namely because of the high inflation rates in most countries. For the gender-based violence and intimate partner violence, I would like to zoom in this specifically because it is not only physical, it is also psychological violence. In a recent study conducted in Egypt in 2023, highlighted that women, like 41.8% of women, of the interviewed women, are subject to psychological violence, and these women were educated and they work in various sectors. And also they are subject to 31% are subject to physical violence and 11.8% are subject to sexual violence. And we consider this as the unintended impact of economic empowerment, where we need to take care of it very much when we talk about like access to resources and women economic empowerment in general. For the supply side constraints, we have financial institutions that do not have financial products that are catered to meet the needs of women. Because it is like business as usual. They have loan products, offering loan products with monthly installments. They perceive women and risky as a risky category. So they need to take impose stringent collateral requirements for women, and women, like by default, they don't have access to resources. Thus, they impose barriers for women to access finance. Moreover, we have limited outreach and lack of financial products targeting women because in most cases, women does not know about if new products is launched. Women do not know about it. We also have a disconnection between non-financial services and financial services because women need skills training, technical training, access to digital marketing, and in most cases we find them like being provided separately by the financial institutions, or we have a scattered or fragmented ecosystem for women entrepreneurs. Moreover, credit officers and risk officers do not speak the language of women, because women by nature are more risk averse. So they need time. They need time to ask questions. And women are not a homogeneous group because there is what we call intersectionality. We have women like who are younger, women more than 35, women who lives in rural areas, women who lives in urban areas. We have educated women. We have illiterate women. So we need to take care of these differences and educate the credit and risk officers in financial institutions that there is a need to differentiate between these groups of women. For the solutions, some of the proposed solutions that at the International Water Management Institute we have been advocating for, and also based on literature review, that there is a need to treat women as different groups, taking into consideration their gender intersectionality, as I highlighted earlier, due to age, due to the geographical location, due to differences in education, and also provide physical support for women who are subject to intimate partner violence and gender-based violence, provide illiteracy classes for illiterate women, because most of these financial institutions require that women sign like checks or promise notes, and sometimes they get misused or abused by others if they ask others to sign it for them. There is a need to avail viable business models, as Dr. Fadi has highlighted, because most women does not know that there is high value added models in the green economy. However, we need to equip women with the technical skills and with the technical training on how to operate and how to use these models. Implement a comprehensive monitoring and coaching system to provide needed financial and non-financial support to women, starting from the completion of the application at the financial intermediary or the financial institution till establishing the established business is mature. Because most of the cases women would need support and throughout the process, and this is the main reason why a number of businesses failed and closes down. There is a need to develop financial products and services that are catered to meet the needs of women, namely in relation to designing specific loan products and for specific sectors that are aligned with the production cycle. And I'm going to present some of the best practices in Africa for like new and innovative solutions. And we have the African Development Bank Group, the AFAWA initiative. And the AFAWA has two innovative solutions to transform the banking and financial landscape in Africa and to create incentives for lending to women in business. The first one is providing a $300 million for de-risking for commercial banks to unlock 3 billion credit for women with a subsidized interest rate. And also they have developed a rating system to evaluate financial institutions based on the share and quality of their lending to women and their socioeconomic impact, which is very important to encourage financial institutions to develop new loan products that are catered to meet the needs of women. AFAWA also provides technical assistance and advisory services to financial institutions to ensure successful implementation of their product portfolios for women, and also works on an enabling environment engagement with African governments and other key stakeholders to support legal, policy, regulatory impeding women in business. The second best practice is the Agriculture and Livestock Agro-Africa, where the main donors is Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, and USAID, with the objective of increasing women's access to agriculture inputs, financing, and markets to improve food security and income. Where the profile of beneficiaries mainly tackles women smallholder farmers across sub-Saharan Africa, focusing on those rural areas with low incomes. And the main impact is enhanced productivity and better access markets and finance for women, and increasing the crop yields by 30%. And the financial mechanism is through grants, loans, and microfinance in collaboration with microfinance institutions, and loans with reasonable interest rates, which is like subsidized less than the corridor interest rate offered by the central banks. And the last practice is Sawash Cooperative, which is solid waste collection and handling in India. It is for establishing a cooperative for waste pickers, preliminary engaging women in waste management, collection, segregation, and recycling activities, which is very important initiative and for the green sector. It is one of India's most successful women-led waste management cooperatives, and the program provided women with technical skills in waste handling and promotes their social and economic empowerment by offering fair wages and dignified working environment. It highlights the importance of women cooperatives, and I believe that this is the future if we want to capitalize on the wealth and the human capital of women in the Arab region. We need to think about cooperatives and how to link them with financial institutions. Till date, the cooperative has 9,000 members, 80% of which are women, and it runs public awareness campaigns, and also it provides them with improving access. It works with them on improving access to health and welfare protections.
دكتورة نورة فاضل دقيقتين.
أنا خلصت. شكرا.
لا إذا في كلمة أخيرة، إذا في كلمة أخيرة أو توصية. أوكي.
Thank you. يعني هي الكلمة الأخيرة الحقيقة إن إحنا
The very last thing I would say is that we have practices in Africa that are various and also all over the world, and we just need to exploit them and benefit from them. We need to work with the financial institutions to design funding products for women that are also in line with the production cycle for food products. Like Dr. Fadi said, we need to document the geographic and heritage indicators for the heritage industries, as well as market for them in a better manner. I believe if we did this, it would be a total transformation. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Dr. Noura, for your fruitful presentation that has presented a lot of success stories and highlighted a lot of important issues like the challenges women face globally, as well as the gap between the two genders and the challenges facing access to funding, and highlighting the importance of training to earn the funding and respect the differences among women in our society. It's also important to find creative role models and cooperatives, as they have great role to add value for women, in adding value for women, um, with providing technical support throughout their production works. Finally, finding an empowering, enabling environment that has policies that support women and encourage women to cultivate better crops. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Noura. We now move on to our third and last presentation in our session. It is around the success stories of the Arab Organization for Agricultural Development and Women Empowerment with engineer Raed Faiz Khattar, who is the director of the technical programs and the deputy director general. He has 30 years of experience in analyzing and implementing projects on the macro and micro economics in states, as well as expertise in many studies in economics. He has a master's degree in foods industries. My dear colleague, Dr. Raed, you have the floor.
الصوت واضح.
شكرا دكتورة نسرين.
Thank you,
بداية
Dr.
اسمحي لي
Nasreen.
إني أشكر
In the beginning,
شركائنا في اللقاء
I'd
ومن
like to
تنمية
thank
المرأة والمنظمة الإسلامية
our
للقطاع الغذائي
partners,
على جهودهم الكبيرة في إخراج هذا
our
العمل
from WTO,
وإنجاحه
and our partners
ونتمنى
from
المزيد من التعاون معهم
IOFS and
وإحنا مستعدين دائما
AOAD
للتعاون
for the
معكم.
success of
كما
this
بشكر كل
event.
الأخوة اللي
And we,
سبقوني
as we are
بالحديث
always
على ما
ready
قدموه
to
من دروس
cooperate with
شيقة
them, I'd
ومعلومات
like to thank
كبيرة
all
استفدنا منها.
the speakers and
وبشكر
their
إخوان
presentations
إخوان
for their
الحضور
valuable
اللي ساهموا
information.
معنا
I'd
في
like also
المداخلات
to
الطيبة.
thank the
أنا
participants
راح أحكي عن
that are
مشروع
contributing with
نفذته
us
المنظمة
and
أسهم
they are
مشروع ريفي
intervening with us
لتعزيز
as
سبل
well.
العيش
We
الريفي
are talking
واستدامة
about the
الأنظمة
regional
البيئية.
project for the
هذا
enhancement
المشروع
of rural
نفذناه في العديد من
livelihoods
الدول
and
العربية في الأردن
ecosystem
مصر السودان
sustainability in Jordan. It was
فلسطين
implemented in Egypt,
وحاليا
Sudan,
بنضيف عليه
Lebanon,
الصومال وفي
and
العراق
Egypt, and now
ولبنان.
we're adding Somal,
في
Iraq,
مشاريع
and
حننفذها من
Lebanon as
خلال
well.
هذا المشروع. في هذا
There
المشروع
are many
قمنا
projects that will
بالتركيز
be
على
implemented
المناطق
throughout this
اللي هي
project.
شبه
We
جافة
focused
وجافة
on
من هذه الدول
the
واللي بتتأثر
dry
بشكل كبير
or the
بالتغيرات
semi-dry
المناخية
regions in
اللي
the
أثرت
states which
كثير
are
على هطول
affected
الأمطار.
the
صار في
most
نقص
by
في
the
مساحة
climate
المياه،
change,
صار
and
في
this
ارتفاع
lead
بدرجات
and this
الحرارة
affected
بتأثر
the
على
amounts
إنتاجية
of rain
المحاصيل.
and raised
صار في
also the
زيادة تواتر في
the
شدة
degrees, and
الفيضانات
this
واللي
affected
بتأثر على
the
انجراب
crops and the
التربة إضافة
amounts
للأضرار
of the
الأخرى على
floods, as
البيئة
well
والتنوع
as the
الحيوي وعلى الإنسان.
effect that reached the
وشفنا
soil
خصوصا
as well
الفيضانات اللي
and
صارت في
the
السودان اللي
vegetables.
راح
And
ضحيتها كثير
we have witnessed
من
the floods in
الناس
Sudan,
للأسف،
where
واللي ترحم عليهم
many
جماعات في السودان
victims
في ليبيا في كل الدول اللي
lost their
صارت فيها
lives
مثل هذه
as a
الظواهر
consequence.
مؤخرا. فدي كانت اعتبارات لاختيار المناطق
These
اللي
were
تنفع
our
تفيد بهذه المشروعات.
considerations
وهي
to
المشروعات كان
implement
الهدف
the
منها
project, and this project
زيادة
aim,
المرونة والقدرة على الصمود
aimed at
وتكيف
increasing
للتغيرات
the
المناخية،
climate
إضافة لزيادة
resilience,
دخل
in
الأسر
addition
الريفية
to
وخاصة
increasing
النساء
the income of
في
the
هذه المناطق
families,
بالاعتماد
especially
على
the
منهجية
women
النكسس.
in
طبعا
these
لا
regions.
يفوتني اني اذكر انه إحنا هذا
by depending
جزء
on
منها
Nexus,
تستفيد بموازنة
uh, and
المنظمة
part of the
وجزء
project
ثمنا في
is
اليوم
funded by the
بدعم
organization,
من منظمة
and the
الأكل
other
والزراعة
part
الفاو
is funded
ومن
by
برنامج الغذاء
the
العالمي
FAO,
ومن المجتمعات المحلية
the
لولا
international
مساعدتهم
program
ما
of
كانت
FAO,
هذه
and the
المشروعات يعني
many other
تتحقق
organizations.
بطريقة غير
And
مستقلة.
as it hadn't been for their
طبعا احنا في الأردن
contributions, we couldn't have
نفذنا
implemented the project. In
قبيونة
Jordan,
اللي هي
we had
زي
implemented um,
طريقة أو آلية لجمع المياه
implemented many
أقصار
mechanisms to
المياه
collect the water of
حوالي
the rains
125 ألف متر
that
مكعب
reached
من المياه ساعتها
almost
كان في فرز سدود ترابية
150,000
تراوحت ساعتها من 100 ألف
meters square,
للسد
and also
لمليون
many
متر مكعب
dams
للسد
that
الواحد
reached
كان
million
توفير
meters square for only
صيانة
one dam, and we
قنوات
have
ري
made the
حوالي
maintenance
1400
of
متر
the
يعني حوالي 2.5
irrigation
من قنوات الري وتم
channels
توزيع
as
أغمار
well, and we
الرعاية
distributed
على نساء ريفية في
livestock
منطقة خورفيفا
on the
في
rural
تعتبر من
women
مناطق وبؤر
in
الفقر في الأردن
one
نتيجة
of
لهذا
the
المشروع
poorest
تم
regions
تحسين
in Jordan.
دخول النساء
And as a
الريفيات في
consequence
منطقة
of
فيفا
this
اللي
project,
كانت
we
النساء التي
boosted the
تعاني
access
من
of
الفقر
the
الدامي
rural women
والفقر الشديد
because they were very
فمع زيادة
poor
الدخول
in their
معها
health
كانت التقارير
before, because of
الراجعة
the
لنا
poor
إنه
conditions as
المرأة
well.
التغذوي في
And
المنطقة تأثر بشكل عام
we
نتيجة
found
لهذه
that
المشروعات
the
تم
food
إعادة
conditions
تأهيل
started to be
مراعي
improved
مساحة
because of
حوالي
these projects.
2714
And
هكتار
also we have
وتم توفير مياه
rehabilitated
الري
many
السقي
regions in Jordan,
لحوالي
and
قطيع
we
يزيد عن 10,000 رأس أحد
provided
المنتجات الجانبية اللي ما كنا
water for
متوقعينها
the
في
livestock
أحد
as well.
السهول اللي
And
عملناها
the one of
في
the
منطقة
unexpected
الأزرق في
results
الأردن
for our
السد نفسه
projects
مساحته صارت
of the
منطقة
dams in
هجرة
Al-Azraq
للطيور
region,
المهاجرة منطقة استراحة
they
للطيور المهاجرة
started
فبالتالي بالإضافة
to
للأغراض
be a
الرئيسية
resting
للمشروع
point
اللي
for
كانت
the
بتوفير مياه
immigrating birds,
المياه
as
للري والسقي بالأغنام
as we wanted
والماعز
them to be they wanted the
صار
dam
منطقة
to be a
جذب
source for
سياحي
water
الناس
for the
بتيجي حتى
livestock.
تشوف
In
الطيور هذه
addition to
خلال
this,
الفترة
it started
الراحة
to be a
هذا فيما
touristic
يتعلق
side for the
بالجهة
people to
في
come and
فلسطين
see
من
the
خلال
birds.
هذا
This when
المشروع
it comes
قمنا
to Jordan.
بتنفيذ
When it comes to
100
Palestine, we
بئر مياه
implemented the
النظام هذا
construction
استخدموا
of
في سقي المزروعات
100 water
لمزارع
wells
الخضار في
that
منطقة
are
المناطق والكرم وفي
used
منطقة
in
بيت لحم
watering the vegetables, such
وبعض
as
المناطق
in many
اللي
regions, such
موجودة
as
على
Beit
السهول
Lahm,
كمان
and
عملنا فيها مشاريع إنتاج
many other
نباتي
regions. We
اللي هي عبارة
worked
عن
also on the
صوب
production
زراعية
of plants,
ملكناها
um,
للمزارعات الموجودين على
and
المنطقة
they were
السود
given
حتى
to the women living
نساعدهم في توفير مصدر
there
دخل
in order
وتوجيههم
to
على البقاء
provide
في
them
الأرض
with a fixed
وهذا موضوع مهم
income
فيما يتعلق
source, and
بفلسطين
this is very important topic when it comes to
في السودان
Palestine. When it comes to
المشروع
Sudan,
قمنا بالتركيز على مبدأ
we
النقص
focused
اللي هي
on the
ترابط
nexus
المياه
principle
والطاقة
and the
والغذاء
linking
ومن
of
خلال المشروع
water
في السودان
and
قمنا
food.
بتمويل
And in
20 جمعية
Sudan,
وطنية
we've
نسوية
organized
تضم
20
حيويتها
organizations focused on
1454
women,
سيدة
and they
وبمساعدة
include
السلطات المحلية
thousands of women.
تمكنا من
And by
تمليكهم
the
قطع
cooperation of
أراضي
the local
وقمنا
bodies, we
بتوفير
made them
قروض زراعية لهذه
own the
النساء
lands,
من خلال البنك
and we
الزراعي
provided
السوداني
them with
المنظمة
agricultural
تحملت
funds,
القسط الأول
and
وكانت
the
الاتفاقية
organization
مع البنك إنه
bear the
القسط
first
الأول إحنا بندفعه
installment, and we
بطريقة
agreed with the bank
الصندوق الدولي
that the first
يعني ما
installment
يسترد
will be
من
paid by the
المزارعات أو الجمعيات
revolving
العشر جمعيات
fund.
اللي بدينا
As
في
the 10
تمويلهم
organizations
يتم
that we
استخدامه
started
في
to
السنة
fund,
الثانية
the
لتمويل
fund will
10
be used
جمعيات
in the
أخرى
second
وهكذا
year in
فهذه
order
كانت يعني
to
فكرة
fund
ناجحة
another
جدا
10
ساعدتنا
other
في نوصل لعدد
organizations.
أكبر
And this was
لنقسم
a very
الغد
successful
من
idea,
المخصصات
and
المالية
it helped us to reach the highest level of
طبعا من خلال
finance.
المشروع كمان وفرنا 580 رأس من الماعز
Throughout this project,
استفادت منهم
we provided
250 أسرة ريفية في
580
منطقة دارفور
livestock, where many families
وقمنا
were
بتزويدهم بمعالق
benefited from them in Darfur,
معالف
and
ومشارب
we
للحيوانات
provided them also with
كما تم عمل
fooders
تلقيح سنوي لعدد
and
250 رأس من الأغنام الحلوب الأغنام المحلية
many
الموجودة بالمنطقة
other
بالتعاون
livestocks
مع
were
منظمتنا الشقيقة إكساد
inoculated, and
قمنا
this was
بتلقيحهم بنطفات من
they were
الماعز السوري
inoculated with the
وراح أعرض لكم يعني بالسلايد
semen
التالي
of
شو
Syrian ghosts. And also, we had another agricultural place, and we provided solar energy to grasp the water and to make it as a water source for the livestock in the region of the project. And when it comes to the agriculture, the farm, each farm of them, each three fadans or 3 acres. One of the main consequences of this project that we find that the agricultural production was raised, as when we trained the women on the new and modern agricultural tools, the production was raised by 35% in comparison with using the traditional uh, tools. And in these regions, one of the problems that they are facing that the rain water is not permanent. That's why the crops are needs other ways of watering. That's why we provided them with complementary sources of uh, irrigation. And also, one of the direct results of the projects, we teach the women how to produce the seeds that will be used in the second or in the next season. And this was a great success for all of us, as these women started to produce reliable types of seeds that will be replanted in the following years. Also, as a result of the of the goats, we had many heads, and their number was raised, and the production of milk for each of them was raised from 300 milliliter to 3 liter per day. That's why the farmers there's a great demand for the newborn of goats, and their prices also were raised. Also, there was mixture between two types of ghosts. In the first year, 192 newborn goats were distributed to 322 families of the newborn goats that were born from the other goats. These are the pictures of the projects. We have supplementary irrigation from water harvesting for sorghum crop. We have the rebuilding of herds that were distributed for the rural women by 3 heads for each family. We have water harvesting, digging also, and digging shallow wells, and the newborn of the goats will be distributed for new families. This when it comes to the Sudan. Now, within the framework of the same project, we have in Saint Catherine in South Sinai, we had an integrated project mixing between the agriculture, energy, and water. The project had many inputs, first of which the mountain lakes. You'll find in this you'll find that this region is highly affected by climate change. Its residents depend on the tourism sector, as there is their only source of income, and that affects the agriculture sector affect their food security and the income as well. The region is one of the regions that is permanently exposed to seasonal floods and strong winds, which result in road clusters and the problems that faced them with the food supplies and the power outrages. That's why we wanted to provide them with other sources other than that tourism. Throughout the project, we maintain to establish mountain lakes that aims to protect the city and create economic activities to store water, to recharge shallow groundwater reservoirs, and provide drinking, irrigation, and watering water for about 8,500 individuals. The project began to be implemented from 2013 till 2018. We implemented 202 lakes, and each one of them was with a storage capacity between 1,000 and 3,000 cubic meters, used in drinking the animals, and this was after training the Bedouins to preserve these lakes. And they were able to invest in them to be a source for to be a touristic source and to be touristically invested as well, to have another alternative for income. Also, the second element of the project was as I said, we had the mountain lakes and we have agricultural water development. Within this project, we had 24 new mountain lakes were created, and the overall started to reach 226 lakes, and there were some of them that were not valid for use. Also, we planted 350 seedlings of various fruits, and we planted 2,000 olive trees. And it's worth mentioning that it is one of the main vegetables that have been implemented in this region. However, because of the changes, they stopped to implement it. And the type of olive that was implemented there, it was very famous in the production of the olive oil. And we had also we built also 8 plastic houses with an area of and they were distributed for the benefit of 24 families, and this was considered an alternative for the income for them because the sanctuary is far away from Cairo by 400 kilometer. That's why the costs of transforming any product from here to there costs them a lot. That's why by providing them locally, they started to be provided at affordable prices. And accordingly, their food style will be improved, and this will help them. People are there are benefited from the B cells as they were distributed to 10 families to produce mountain honey, and we provided them also by fooders that will cover 6 months, and after that they will be able to provide the fooders by themselves. Also, we were able to supply and install 2 energy systems for the integrated development
مهندس رائد هناء بتكتب
component.
بالعرض إذا في كمان
Also
توصية أخيرة
solar
برضه تحب تقولها يبقى
competence.
كويس
Mr. Raed, I would like you to tell us last recommendation. I'm done with my presentation.
فتم من خلال
إذا
المشروع هذا عقد 10
framework
دوائر
of the project,
تدريبية
we will not be providing them only by those things that I have told you about. However, we were trying to provide trainings as well in order to make all the previous results successful ones. Uh, According to my practical
بأي طريقة كانت
experience
تكون كلفة
implementing of this to implement this projects, and in order to be successful ones, the civil societies should be participating, not only financially, however, they should also shoulder that responsibility. And instead of giving them the goats, um, the civil society can bring you back the products of the ghosts. You will be guaranteeing the continuity of the project, and you will guarantee that you will distribute the the products of the projects in order to guarantee increasing the number of the beneficiaries. As I say, maybe this can be called the
لما تعطيها من غير ما يكون في
revolving
التزام
projects.
من قبل
They are
المتلقي
very
ما
important
بتضمن
in
انه
order
يعطيك اللي انت بدك اياه
to make
ممكن
to
يبيعها
make this
ممكن
obligatory,
ما يهتم فيها كثير
and to make the
فبالحالة هذه انت
one who is
بتلزمه
getting to
انه
get
يكون مستمر
benefit
معك
from your project
وبرضه
to be
بتنفذ
committed
حجم اكبر من
to
المشروعات
continue
بنفس
the project
المبالغ
with you
اللي انت بتكون
without
مخصصها لمثل هيك مشروعات
selling
شكرا
شكرا جزيلا مهندس رائد على هذا العرض
what you
الثري
give
والملهم
him or something else.
لإيجاد مشروعات أخرى أيضا في المنطقة
Thank you
وشكرا
so much
لإلقاء
for
الضوء على المشروع
thank
الإقليمي
you
لتعزيز سبل العيش
thank
الريفية
you Mr.
والتزامها
Raed,
بالنظام البيئي
and thank you for
وعلى أهمية
highlighting the
المشروع في
regional
الصمود والتكيف مع
project
تغير
for
المناخ
the
وآثاره في زيادة دخل النساء
um,
وأيضا التأثيرات البيئية لهذا المشروع
for the enhance
وأهمية
of rural and ecosystem
اتباع نهج
sustainability in
الترابط بين
Georgia,
النجاح والطاقة
and for the
والغذاء
consequences and the
جمعيات
environmental
التعاونية
results of the
النسوية
project, and
ودورها
the
أيضا في نجاح
importance of
المشروع
being
وكيف
committed to
تمدد
such
نموذج
projects,
الصندوق
and the
الثواب
role of the
وأهمية اشتراك المجتمع المحلي
women
بالكلفة
cooperatives
لضمان
in
استدامة
order to
المشروع
make
والحية
this
أو ما يمكن
project
أن نطلق عليه
successful one, and the
المشروعات
importance
الدوائر.
of
شكرا مرة
participating
أخرى
thusly
مهندس رائد
in order to
وتحية
guarantee the
هناء
seriousness
والأستاذ
of the
تاج
project,
الخزرمية للموسيقى
or what we can
والأجوبة
call the
تفضلي مهندس.
revolutionary
شكرا جزيلا دكتورة
projects.
نسرين
And now
على
we're
إدارة هذه
moving to
الجلسة.
Miss Hannah
أعلم
to
إن يعني
move to the
الوقت
Q&A part.
متخطيناه، لكن ممكن يبقى معنا في حدود 5 ل 10 دقائق
I know that we have probably exceeded our time, but we have
الأسئلة
about 5 to
والأجوبة.
10 minutes to receive your
للمهندسة
questions,
ناتالي من الأردن عن
if
تجربة
any.
تحقق
I see in
وتخطيط
the
استخدام مياه
Q&A
الري
section, we
خاصة
have
تطوير
a question
تصادر
for
المياه
Engineer
واللي
Natalie
موجودة بكثرة في
on
السودان
the
وأيضا الطاقة الشمسية.
experiences of
السؤال: ما هي
water management
التجارب للمرأة
and
الريفية
irrigation,
لاستخدامها في
because
السودان
we have
للتحكم
such
بالمياه؟
waste in Sudan? And also, what
مهندسة
are
ناتالي،
the
أرجو
experiences
الإجابة
of the
على
rural women
السؤال في مدة
with water
من
management
دقيقتين.
so that we can implement them in Sudan? Thank you so much. And Engineer Natalie, please go ahead with the answer, and please try not to exceed 3 minutes. Engineer Natalie, can you hear me?
تمام، إلى حين رجوع مهندسة ناتالي هل يوجد أي أسئلة أو
All
استفسارات؟
right, until Engineer Natalie comes back, do we have any other questions or any interventions? Kindly raise your hands.
Yes.
I can see someone is raising their hands. أستاذة هيلا حسيني.
Okay, we have Miss Hela Hassini.
أستاذة هيلا، حضرتك تقدري تتكلمي دلوقتي. اتفضلي.
Miss Hela, you can speak at the moment. You can go ahead.
أستاذة هيلا، حضرتك سامعاني؟
Miss Hela, can you hear me?
أستاذة هيلا.
Miss Hela.
إحنا سامعين حضرتك، تقدري تتكلمي.
We can hear you. You can go ahead.
إلى حين رجوع أستاذة هيلا, I can see Dr. Ibrahim is raising his
Until
hands. Dr. Ibrahim,
Miss
please,
Hala
the floor
comes
is
back.
yours. Dr. Ibrahim?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
please. The floor is yours.
I just want to make one comment and then sharing my experience in terms of women. I have a problem with how women is targeted, rural women. If you really look in the reality, what's prevailing at the ground level, we need really to target more the real rural women, not those are in close to the major cities. That's one comment I want to make. On the other hand, on providing assistance to rural women in overcoming poverty and engaging business and profitable activity, you need to come up a strategic way of providing tangible asset, livelihood resource assets, including business, startup capital. In terms of what we have seen in Somalia, you don't need to give cash, but you need to give the tools they need to start business. And the first thing to start is capacity building, but training for business development. The second is providing the tools they need that, whether it's a farming, fishing, or other business. Then you provide and link to the market. If the last presenter have talked about giving assistance to certain women, example, if you want to give livestock to rural women, you need as a group, and that you give the first one, let's say a cow or a goat. When that you give two, and then when they produce the offspring will be given to the next. So it becomes a revolving. Like once they reach, if they have two kids and two offsprings, they will give one to the neighbor in the so it becomes a cascading benefit for development of rural women. So let us start target and not be fooled by another one is the finance. Banks will not provide funds or credit to small women. They provide on real estate, other businesses. So what you do, a big project should provide cash as a guarantee for the funds to be lended with a low interest, not more than 4%. But the experience we have in the Somalia, it's too much. It's only those who are around and relatives benefit rather than the real needy rural women. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ibrahim. What you have said is really crucial to have sustainable support to rural women. I can see Ms. Hela is still raising her hand. Ms. Hela, please, حضرتك ممكن تكلمي سامعاني؟
Miss Hela, can you hear me? You can go ahead. Okay, until she comes back, until the sound issue is fixed, let's go back to Engineer Natalie. There's a question for you. So are you here with us to answer?
تمام. أنا شايفة أستاذ فادي حابب يشارك.
I can also see Mr. Fadi wanting to participate. Yes, I just want to respond to Dr. Ibrahim. Thank you so much.
هلا مش كل النساء الريفيات
Not all rural women work in agriculture.
بس من عندهم يستعمل تعبئة وتغليف تسويق
Sometimes they work in packaging, mobilizing, marketing.
خيارات كثيرة لنفس
So there are a lot of options
تصنع
for the same
مجموعة
group.
منتج مواد أولي
A group can
مجموعة
manufacture, a
تسوق
group
مجموعة
can
تعبئة وتغليف
package, a
لذلك
group
رح
can
يكون
market.
مثل عناقيد
So
أنه
it will be like a
هناك
chain.
تسويق يعني المشكلة في التسويق نحن سوف
If
نحل
we have
المشكلة
a
قريبا إن
problem
شاء
in
الله أو
marketing, and
هناك
we
فكرة
will
لحلها
solve that
مع
issue
منظمة
soon. We
عملية
do have an
المزارعين
idea
رح
on how
نزود
to
هذه
solve
جدا
it with
لطيفة وإن
the
شاء الله بسرعة
Arab Organization
تستمر
for
رح
Agricultural Development.
نلقوا
But
فيها
until
قريبا
we are well sure of it,
شكرا لكم
we
شكرا
won't tell it
جزيلا أستاذ
just yet.
فادي.
And thank you so much.
في
Thank you so
سؤال
much,
أخير
Mr. Fadi. There
أعتقد
is
للدكتورة
one last
نسرين.
question for
كيف
Dr. Nasreen.
يمكن للمرأة
How
الريفية في
can
ليبيا أن
the
تطور
rural
نفسها
woman in
وتستفيد من
Libya
الدعم من الشبكة
improve her skills
والمنظمات
and
الدولية؟
benefit from the
دكتورة
support from the
نسرين
network and international organizations?
إذا ممكن
Dr. Nasreen,
حضرتك
you
تجاوبي على
can
السؤال
kindly question. Thank you so much for the question. As I have said, the network on rural women works on cooperating with 22 Arab states through connection points nationally that are recommended by the Arab ministries of agriculture. So there is always a point of connection from which there's emerges partnerships from other national organizations. My sister from Libya, you can contact me and we can help in your points of communication in Libya, and we'd be happy to help. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Nisreen. I can see Ms. Hayla raising her hand once more.
حضرتك تقدري تتكلمي؟
Ms. Hayla,
شكرا إن شاء الله تكونوا تسمعوا فيا.
you can speak.
هل يمكن الاستماع؟
Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me.
جيدا. تفضلي.
شكرا لكل المتدخلين.
Yes, we can
شكرا
hear you
على
very
الفرصة
well.
الطيبة هذه.
Thank you to all
من
participants,
تونس
and thank you for giving me
حديث
this
ودكتورة
chance
نسرين حكينا فيه الموضوع
to
متاع
speak.
العديد من
I'm from
التعاونيات
Tunisia, and
الفلاحية
Dr. Nisreen,
النسائية. احنا عنا
I
عدد
liked how you talked a lot about partnerships and cooperations,
نسائية
where there are
في ضمن
256
هالبرامج
cooperations dedicated for women
ككل
among
نسأل
these
هل يمكن
fruitful programs.
إدراج بعض
So I
البرامج
want to ask, can we also
اللي كما
integrate some
وريته لنا
programs
الموضع
like
بالنسبة
those that
لتونس
you have
عبر
showed
اتفاقيات
in Tunisia through
وهذا علاش باش ننجحوا
agreements
في تعاونية الخدمات الفلاحية النسائية خاطر
so
في
that
تونس
we can help more in
التعاونيات
the
ومجامع
agricultural
التنمية
services in
النسائية
Tunisia,
متقدمة
perhaps
لأنه
with the
التمويل
developmental
برغم توفير بعض
organizations, because
التمويل
funding,
بعض
although there
البنوك
is some funding through some
البنوك
banks,
الخاصة والبنوك العمومية اللي
private
هما
banks and public
زوج بنوك
banks,
معناتها بنكين اثنين عموميتين
we have
إلا أنه
two
التمويل
general
يبقى ديما
banks.
معناتها
However,
دون
funding
المطلوب
is
وشكرا
provided,
يعطيكم
but it's
الصحة
less than what is
شكرا
required.
مهندسة
So thank you
هالة
so much.
بالطبع
Thank you,
التعاونيات في تونس
Engineer Hala. Of
لها أثر
course,
كبير
partnerships in
في
Tunisia
تحسين الوصول للموارد
have a great
المالية وتحسين
impact
الوصول
in improving
والتعاون
access
في الإنتاج
to financial
الغذائي
resources and to
والزراعة
cooperation in food
ونسمع الاستعداد
industries
للتعاون مع
and
هذه
agriculture.
التعاونات من
We're, of
خلال
course,
نقاط
ready
الاتصال
to
نقاط
work with
الاتصال
these
الشبكة
partnerships again
حضرتك
with
معنا
the
وفي
points of
نقاط
communication
قادم في
and
تونس إن شاء
connection.
الله
Of course,
دعم
you're with us, and
زادت بالذات
in
أعمال
our
في
next
مجال
activity in
الزيتون
Tunisia,
في تونس بالاستفادة من
Tunisia,
تجربة
we will
تونس
support
والدول
women
أيضا العربية الأخرى
entrepreneurs
المنتجة للزيتون هذه إحدى الأنشطة لكن هناك أنشطة أخرى مستقبلية إن شاء الله
um,
وسيكون هناك فرصة
in
لتعميم دور
many
التعاونيات
countries.
كما
The
ذكرت
olive
استخدام
trees was
الشبكة
one
شكرا
activity, and
جزيلا
of course, there are many. We will
شكرا
make
لك
sure to establish
دكتورة
more
نسرين.
partnerships through our network, and thank you so much.
وصلنا
Thank you
الآن
so
إلى
much,
ختام
Dr.
هذه
Nisreen.
ورشة العمل. أود
We
أن أشكر
have
جميع
reached the end
المتحدثين
of
وجميع
our
المشاركين،
workshop.
وأود أن أؤكد
I
أن
would like to thank
السيد
all
جميع العضوين
speakers and
التي
participants. I
تم
would like
عرضها
to
اليوم.
stress
كما
that
أود أن
we will be
أعرف أيضا
sending
أنه سيتم
all
رفع
the
ورشة
presentations
العمل
that we have
بالإضافة
seen today.
لورشة
And I would also
العربية
like to note
والإنجليزية والفرنسية
that
إلى منصة
the workshop
المنظمة
has been
واليوتيوب.
translated into
وسيتم
2 more
إرسال
languages, so 3
الروابط
languages,
الخاصة
Arabic, French, and
بالتسجيلات
English, that will be available on
لورشة
YouTube.
العمل. نصل الآن إلى ختام هذه الورشة.
There are
لقد
also
استمعنا إلى
links
قصص
for
النجاح
all the
وناقشنا استراتيجيات فعالة لتمكين
organizations
النساء
that
الريفيات
have
في
been
الزراعة.
mentioned
أود أن أشكر جميع المتحدثين
of our
والمشاركين على
workshop. We
مساهمتهم
have
القيمة.
enjoyed your presence a lot. Thank you all so much, our speakers and participants, for your valued assistance. In summary, we have seen today how we can empower women economically through the smart
المنظمة العربية للتنمية الزراعية والمنظمة الإسلامية للأمن الغذائي. نتطلع إلى تنفيذ التوصيات التي خرجنا بها اليوم لدعم المزارعات في المجتمعات الريفية، كما نسعى دائما في منظمة تنمية المرأة إلى العمل لتوحيد الجهود لتنمية وتمكين المرأة في الدول الأعضاء لمنظمة التعاون الإسلامي. شكرا جزيلا لحضراتكم ولحضوركم، ونتطلع إلى المزيد من التعاون مستقبلا، ولأي استفسارات برجاء التواصل معنا من خلال منصات التواصل الاجتماعي
so much. We look forward
لمنظمة تنمية المرأة. شكرا لكم
in the future, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much. I wish, or I hope you have a wonderful day.
شكرا.
Thank you, and peace be you.
شكرا جزيلا. شكرا.
شكرا جزيلا
لكم. شكرا لك.
شكرا to all of you.